Here we are about to begin the AGM for the ICAI Oman chapter. And the eligible members are the paid members for 2024-25 and also those who are paid for 25-26. I assume all of the members here fall under the eligible members criteria. Yes? Okay. So the quorum is met. We have 3 agenda for today. Agenda 1 is the approval of minutes of the extraordinary general meeting, which was held on 27th of December 2024, and the minutes of last year's AGM. Agenda 2 and 3 are the annual report and the financial statements to be approved. Agenda 4 is the approval of the statutory auditor's appointment. So with this, may I request the chairperson, CA Gaurav Kapoor, to kindly address the members.
Good evening, everyone. Respected members, respected President of ICAI, CA Charanjot Singh Nanda, respected past President, CA Raghu, it is with immense joy, heartfelt gratitude, and a touch of emotion that I stand before you this evening at the 17th Annual General Meeting of ICAI Oman Chapter, i.e. Muscat Chapter of ICAI, legally Muscat Chapter, but branded as ICAI Oman Chapter because of the overseas regulations issued by ICAI. This AGM holds a special heart for me, not just because it's another milestone in our journey, but because it marks my final address as the chairperson of this remarkable chapter. It's been a journey of growth, challenges, learning, and most importantly, a shared sense of purpose. I've mostly said always in English during these moments, but today, since it's my last speech, you will hear some few words in Hindi as well, so please bear with me. I'll break my speech into 5 parts. One part, I will shorten it so that it will be addressed later on in the evening because we want to hear from Nanda ji as well. First is on historical moments. Our chapter has been known for creating historical moments in the past 17 years. And today is one more day. We created history earlier this year by holding the first ICAI GCC conference. We have the history of having the first woman chairperson of the chapter, of any overseas chapters. Today, the history is, I think this is the first AGM of the chapter in the last 17 years when a president of ICAI is present. This is also the first AGM for Mr. Nanda to be present in any overseas chapter. And most importantly, although I do not have a confirmed, I did ask Nitinji, IAA about this. I think he has not confirmed that, but we still take the pride for, agar nahi pata to hum hi hain. This is actually the first AGM of any overseas chapter where a president is present, not only in Oman. Any in across history of ICAI. Serving you as your chairman has been one of the most fulfilling honors of my professional life so far. The role comes with a fair share of challenges, unexpected twists, and penalty of feedback, often passionate and always valuable. Every word I say today has a meaning. Maybe I'm not able to explain in detail, but members who are closely associated with the chapter and with me and have been working along would understand those words more closely. I especially want to acknowledge the continuous inputs from our members, including our past chairpersons. Your insights have kept us sharp, agile, and constantly surviving for better, for the chapter, for the members. My second point for today, support and suggestions from the members. Let me take a moment here to emphasize and let you know that every suggestion, whether in writing or verbally, received during the professional or non-professional gatherings, is carefully considered and deliberated upon in our managing committee meetings. Decisions are taken with one goal: to serve the best interest of this chapter and its members. So please don't stop sharing your thoughts and feedback. It truly makes a difference. This chapter is no more an organization, it's a family. Yes, like in every family, we may have moments of disagreement. And if you go back tonight, scroll through the last 1 year of messages that I did last night to refresh what we have achieved, what was the feedback. And this statement comes from there. The disagreements might be there, but when it matters the most, we still unite, show our strength, support, and that's what makes us as we are today. And I request each one of you to continue to extend your encouragement and support, not only to the new incoming office bearers later this evening, but also for the months and years to come. Third, events, professional and non-professional. This past year, we have made remarkable events. I'll not go in terms of the first ICAI conference, etc., etc. I think I'll just say that we have done 71 hours of CP events, complemented by nearly as many non-CP events, ensuring our members grow not only professionally, but also stay healthy. Our events were designed to connect not just professionals, but their families too. And there is a reason for that, because there's a research worldwide which says that connecting members just connect 2 people, but connecting families connect 8 or 9 people. The members connect, the spouses connect, the kids connect, and it has much more lasting relationship. And I will come back when, as I said, later in the evening, because I'm keeping my speech this short, because we want to hear from Nanda ji, how incredible relationships I have made in the last 1 year. Not because I knew few people face to face, but when the families connected, it had a much wider impact. We also launched the members placement portal earlier this year, as well as the student internship portal. We have been conducting weekly well-being sessions. And because of all this, our chapter for the 10th consecutive year won the Best Overseas Chapter Award. Looking ahead, we are continuing to work on a revamped resource section on our website and have a plan for digital library to serve as a one-stop knowledge hub for members. It does exist today. It has a lot of useful links, but I was told it may not have been revamped or shared with the members. So that's something you will hear more in the coming days. All this to be achieved, whether you say members placement portal or student interest portal or any other initiatives that we take, I can tell you 8 people sitting here or 7 now, Ashish could not make up, he got an emergency. It's not possible for them to achieve. It's too much to do. There are so many things that happen that doesn't reach you, doesn't mean that there is no trouble. I will share, and I wanted to have actually, I said that I want to have a 45 minutes of CPE session for myself to share my experiences as a chairman today. But since CA Raghu and CA Manoj was there, I shut my mouth and nobody knows here as well. But I have requested now as part of my speech, if they give me 45 minutes later to do this session in one of the future CPE sessions. Because the learnings have been drastically different, never expected. They say, you have your father, so whatever is your age, you never feel a burden because he's there. When he's not there, then you realize what you missed it. Whether you are 4 years or 14 years or 40 years or 80 years here. Fourth, social media. In line with the times, our social media presence has grown significantly. On all the social media platforms, we have shown more than 25% growth. YouTube, 28%, Instagram, 40%, LinkedIn, 35%. And you would have seen that although the percentages looks great, I think there's significantly more that needs to be done here. Because we started with a small base. The base is increasing. So the percentages will slow down if we do not work together. And that was the reason of issuing the social media policy. It's not a legal policy or anything, but it's strongly recommended. Just keep in mind, it is for the betterment of your chapter and nothing else. And if you go through it, and the way it is drafted, it has only one objective in mind. Having said that, we are happy to continue to have suggestions from you to develop it further. Last but not the least is the support from the members. All the past chairpersons, I know there have been few instances where I needed to go back to them to seek their advice on what to do on these critical matters that came up. As I said, you may not know everything, but then I was in a position that I could not take a decision, and I needed a guidance. So these 16 people were my, 16, right, 17, 16, were my guiding force, because they have been to this position. The example of the father or the mother I just gave, they were my fathers and mother, irrespective of the age. I fighted with them, by the way. You would have seen a flavor of it in some group, but that fight, as I said, remained internal. But we went out, we were united. The same people who fighted were supporting me the most later on. That shows the strength of our organization. As I said, we are doing so much. I'm cutting short this specific part because I know we have some certificates and other distributions to be given to the supporting team members. That doesn't mean that who are not getting have not supported. Your presence in the CP events, your presence in the cultural events, your presence in the sports event itself makes it enough that you are contributing for the chapter. No event is successful without the members. And as I said, all this is not possible for 8 members, not possible at all. Even if we wake full night, don't sleep, it's not possible. It's the team that works. So please do come forward. Take the interest of what you like the most. We have across the globe, across the various initiatives that need support. So which one you like, we are happy to allocate you that particular and take benefit of your expertise in that. In conclusion, we stand today on the foundation built by our visionary leaders. This legacy inspires inspires us, and I have no doubt that this community, with its strength and unity, will soar to even greater heights in the years ahead. Though I pass on this baton tonight, my journey with you continues. I remain just a call or a message away, always available to support you professionally and personally. Thank you once again for your trust, your friendship, and making this journey truly unforgettable. Let us continue to learn, grow, and lead together. I end my speech formally here, but I'll take a few more minutes of your time informally later this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gauravji. And whatever Gauravji has said here, it's very true because he has led by example and he was truly like a fatherly figure who has supported 100% all of our initiatives. Thank you, Gauravji. So here we will start with the first agenda, which is reading of the minutes of the extraordinary meeting. The extraordinary meeting was held on 27th of December 2025 at 6:30 p.m. It was virtually on Zoom. The online meeting was convened at 6:30 and the quorum was met and the meeting was called to order. The appointment of the secretary was the first agenda. CA Unmesh Bhome was appointed as the secretary for the meeting. The secretary read out the agenda for the meeting. CA Gaurav Kapoor, chairman of the chapter, provided an overview of the background and the context for the proposed amendments to the chapter's bylaws. Members raised queries on each of the proposed changes. Secretary Unmesh Bhome responded to all the queries and explained each of the amendments in detail. With no further questions from the members, the proposed amendment to the bylaws were put to vote. The resolution was passed with 32 votes in favor and 5 votes against. So with the conclusion, with the approval of the approved amendments and no other items of the business, the meeting was adjourned. So with this, shall we pass the minutes of the extraordinary meeting? So any of the member who proposes it, and I want somebody to second. Mubinji, okay. And second, Ritesh. Now we will go to the minutes of the 16th Annual General Meeting, which was held on 30 May 2024 at 7 p.m. Venue was Oman Hall, CBFS, Baushar, Sultanate of Oman. Along with all the MC members, many other members were present, making the total strength of over 100 members. As the quorum for the meeting was met, the meeting was called to order. Secretary CA Unmesh Bhome invited the chairperson CA Jim Joseph to start the proceedings. Chairperson briefed the members on the various topics covering the various developments and initiatives taken by the chapter during the year 2024-25. Following is a synopsis of the AGM proceedings. Minutes of the previous AGM dated 27 May 23 were read and approved as correct proceedings of the event. Financial statements were discussed and approved by the members. Annual report for the year 23-24 were received and approved by the members. The managing committee received 3 quotes and proposed the same auditor, Messrs. Al-Barji Audit and Financial Consultancy, BAF appointment. It was approved by the members as the statutory auditors for the chapter for the year 2024-25. The election committee took over the proceedings for the election of the managing committee for the year 24-27, consisting of 8 members. Voting were done on ballot papers, and election committee declared the below members as elected: CA Gaurav Kapoor, CA Sangeeta Suresh, CA Ajil James, CA Unmesh Bhome, CA Ashish Subedar, CA Jay Duseja, and CA Abhishek Vaishya. There being no other items on the agenda, AGM was concluded. So can we pass this? Asta ji, and Anuradha ji. So now we will go to the second agenda, second and third, which is the annual report and financial statements. This was shared with all the chapter members on email. But before we go on to the detail of that, I just want to highlight few things is that ICAI Oman chapter needs to be read as ICAI Muscat chapter to be in line with the legal name of the entity. So that the annual report and the financial statements are aligned. And also we had a query on revenue recognition. We just want to clarify on that is that the membership fees for the respective year, for the financial year, are accounted only on receipt basis. So with this, shall we go ahead and pass the annual report and financial statements? Or if any queries? Anybody to oppose?
The points which are highlighted, so the name which is used for financial statement is incorrect. So now we are approving the financial statement where the legal name is not the right name. So they should be brought to the and then
Yeah, it has been brought notice by the secretary, right?
and then the accounting policies are stated excessive. This is notice saying over the period. So there is ambiguity appearing in the financial statement that should be taken care of.
We have discussed this with the auditor and he said it is fine. We can reply to your specifics separately with the auditor, but we have discussed with the auditor and he is fine with whatever has been currently disclosed.
Third point I had made as part of my email to the on the risk management and the capital management. Because 80% of our assets comprise of the bank balance. So, due to the significance of the amount in our balance sheet, we should be also including a report with regard to bank deposits. The bank risk and utilization plan as per law. So, I think that should also be going forward. Not as
So we have, as I said, we have noted your comments. It will be taken up by the managing committee and appropriate action will be taken if required.
fully agreed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ritesh. So we will come back to you on that. So we can go ahead and pass the annual statements. Anybody to second it? Okay. Noon Pai. You have? It's okay? Okay, so now we will go with the last item for the AGM, which is the appointment of the statutory auditors. We have received quotes from the audit firms, and based on the quotations that we have received around 200 and 350 and all that. So we managing committee have decided to go ahead with the current auditors, BAF. Yeah. So we will go ahead with the current auditors to be, and we just need your approval so that we can go ahead appointing the statutory auditors as BAF and continue with them. So with this, I think we have come to the end of the AGM. And may I request CEO Unmesh Bhome to kindly give the vote of thanks.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Oh, that's the spirit. So, as Gauravji mentioned, this is a historic AGM where we have got two past presidents, one sitting president of ICAI attending the AGM. So that's a very good moment. So I think we should first thank all the three eminent personalities. And to be very honest, I'm not really prepared for a vote of thanks. You are the family members, so what's there to thank family members? But it's my responsibility to thank each and every one of you for supporting the chapter and the activities throughout the year. So please continue to support the chapter activities, participate more. And We have got one more permanent member, Nagesh. Thank you, Nagesh, for recording all the sessions. And with this, I conclude the formal vote of thanks, just in the spirit of saving time, because we are all eager to hear to Nanda ji. So thank you very much. And we will have a short 10-minute break, and we'll resume immediately after 10 minutes. So please bring your tea, coffees inside, because we'll be starting without any further delay. 6:20, please come back.
Jay, please, come. Adil Jay, please, can you be seated? Especially managing committee members, if you are not seated, you are not leading by example. Yeah. Okay, let's start then. Before I go to the brief meeting we had, may I request President ICAI CA Charanjot Singh Nanda ji to come on the stage, and may I request Unmesh to escort him. I also request all the managing committee members in the room to come on the stage. This is a special announcement. The managing committee, goes to all these official meetings as well as official programs that are run by the institute, either representing the Oman chapter. And in one of the recent meetings, we were told that during the COVID times, there was significant contribution made by ICAI for its members who had hard time during that period. And therefore, there was decrease or significant decrease in the CA Benevolent Fund. So as chapter, we've decided to contribute to the CA Benevolent Fund. That goes to the benefit of not only the chapter sitting in this room, but more than 5 lakh members across the world. So we are contributing an amount of 5 lakhs for the CA Benevolent Fund. Can I have the check, please? Thank you. This is all on behalf of you, not from me, not from the managing committee. I request everyone to go down, except the President ICAI, to remain on the seat, on the stage. I'll just briefly announce the office bearers for the year 2025-26. And as I said, we are going to create another history today for the President to give the badges to the new office bearers. The chairperson for 25-26, as elected by the managing committee, is CA Unmesh Bhume. Moving on, the vice chairman for the year 2025-26 will be CA Sangeeta Suresh Kumar. The secretary for the year 2025-26 will be CA Badri Kumar Subudi. And the treasurer for the year 25-26 will be CA Ashish Subedar. He's not there, but do congratulate him on my behalf. With this, I thank of all the office bearers, and I simultaneously request, sir, you have 30 minutes now, not 20 minutes, to address the members. Over to ICAI President CA Charanjot Singh Nanda. So, Nanda ji has requested, Unmesh, if you want to address the members for a few minutes.
लिख के तो आया हूँ, सीए एग्जाम जैसा रटा नहीं है. So treasurer is here. Let's give a big round of applause to our new treasurer Ashish. Respected President Nanda sir, past President Raghu sir, Manoj sir, past chairpersons, my fellow chartered accountants, welcome to this first CP session. Maybe my voice is shivering because, as I told you, I'm not ready. So today, this is not just another day in the history. It is a very emotional moment for me to take the baton from our beloved past chairperson, CA Gaurav, in the hands of Nanda sir. So Nanda sir, thank you once again for honoring the occasion. It is not just a handover of the position, it is handover of the trust, responsibility, and the vision of all the past chairpersons who have set for the chapter. And I hope I'll be able to give my best with the support of all of you in the next 1 year. दो पंक्तियां लिखी हैं, अर्ज किया है, सफर तन्हा था मगर मंजिल के हम सफर मिले. सफर तन्हा था मगर मंजिल के हम सफर मिले. हर मोड़ पर राह दिखाने वाले सर आप जैसे गुरु मिले. मैडम आप जैसे गुरु मिले. पास्ट चेयरपर्सन एंड प्रेसिडेंट्स, यू आर ऑलवेज द गाइडिंग लाइट. यह नाज है कि जिम्मेदारी का पट्टा मिला. यह नाज है कि जिम्मेदारी का पट्टा मिला और साथ ही साथ इतना प्यार और विश्वास भी मिला. ताली. So as I take this torch lit by our past chairpersons, all the past committee members who could not continue to be the office bearers, current office bearers, subcommittee members, and obviously our beloved past chairperson, CA Gaurav Kapoor, whose calm leadership and relentless support have really guided us. CA Gaurav. CA Gaurav. CA Gaurav, you have not just served the community, you have inspired all of us. So I request everybody to please give a big round of applause to CA Gaurav. So as we begin our journey for the next session or the season 2025-26, I thought of having one theme. So the theme I thought of, and I hope you would like it and you will support it, which will be the guiding principle for the next 1 year, is Jnanam Paramam Balam. Knowledge is supreme power. Jnanam Paramam Balam. Taliyan. And to support this vision, inspired by our beloved Prime Minister, I have also carved one acronym. Now, we are all the members of ICAI. So I thought of shuffling the alphabets and make a new acronym which will support this theme, Jnanam Paramam Balam. So the new acronym is CAAI. So the theme to support is Charting accountability through artificial intelligence will be the theme for next year. तालियां. अर्ज किया है. इरशाद? इरशाद, ओके. हथियार नहीं अब ज्ञान हमारी ढाल है. हथियार नहीं अब ज्ञान हमारी ढाल है. हर बदलाव में बस समझदारी की मिसाल है. हथियार नहीं अब ज्ञान हमारी ढाल है. हर बदलाव में बस समझदारी की मिसाल है. ज्ञानम परमम बलम का है ये सिद्ध मंत्र. ज्ञानम परमम बलम का है ये सिद्ध मंत्र. इसी शक्ति से सजी आज की हमारी चाल है. इसी शक्ति से सजी आज की हमारी चाल है. I've been indicated to cut my speech short, though it is the first one. Welcome to the club. Sir, एक ही है. So, as Gaurav ji mentioned, it's always about the member support without which nothing is possible. तो उसके लिए भी एक अर्ज किया है. तालियां. सितारों को तोड़कर लाने की हिम्मत है जिनमें. सितारों को तोड़कर लाने की हिम्मत है जिनमें, वो आसमानों की हदों में नहीं रहते. So I want all the members to be part of all the chapter activities in whatever way you can, and let's make one more historical year in ICAI Oman chapter. Talia. And with this, I just remember what Sunil Talati sir mentioned in the GCC conference we had in January, which I want every one of you to say. East or West, Indian Chartered Accountants are? East or West, Indian Chartered Accountants are? With this, I hand it over to Nanda ji.
Yeah, so there was a slight unexpected, not delay, but some speech from new chairperson, because Nanda ji wanted a special video to be played, which is now ready. Yeah, can we go ahead with the video, please?
In a world of constant change, a partner that stands firm with deep-rooted values of excellence, independence, and integrity, and embracing the motto, Jaish Sukteshu Chakrati. Driving India's economic growth is ICAI, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. ICAI stands committed to strengthening India's leadership in accounting and finance. Under the visionary leadership of C.A. Charanjot Singh Nanda, the 73rd President of the world's largest accounting body, ICAI, embarks on a transformative journey.
I am honored to assume the position as 73rd President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I want to tell you that I have dreams which I have seen over so many years before assuming this position. Very important agendas for this council. Number one, we build business. When I come in a commanding position, we see that there are certain sweeping changes. We want this to be as a boardroom. We does professional business which transacts agenda which is of high order. Second important thing, the plight of members and students has to improve. Along with members and students and council to take our employees around. They were exceptionally well in pressure that the knees out and work in normal circumstances, the same vigor and beat the work in pressure.
The theme for the year 2025-26, Vishwasniya, meaning trustworthy, resonates with the commitment to be a trusted partner in India's development, illuminating the paths towards Viksit Bharat. Asmakam karyam vishwasniyam Viksit Bharatasya samarpitam cha asti. Meaning, our work is trustworthy and dedicated to a developed India. Vision for Viksit Bharat. V in Vishwasniya symbolizes a vision to make India a Vishwaguru in the accounting world and steering the nation towards becoming a Viksit Bharat by 2047.
अपने देश की इकोनॉमी को सही रास्ते पे ले जाने के लिए ये डेडिकेटेड फोर्स है और मैं डायरेक्ट से एज 73rd प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ कह रहा हूं सर, ये सब देश के लिए मर मिटने को तैयार है।
आईसीआई इंस्टीट्यूट जो कहती है वो करती है। तो अगर तीसरी इकोनॉमी का वादा कर लिया आपने, तो पूरे देश में आपके मेंबर्स हैं, उनमें आप अपनी ये भावना फैलाइए कि भारत को सबसे बड़ी तीसरी अर्थव्यवस्था हमें बनाना है, और जब आप लग जाओगे तो निश्चित रूप से तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बन जाएगी।
Whatever my vision is the vision of the president. Whatever the president's vision is, the vision of the Central Council members. Whatever the Central Council members' vision is, the vision of all the members and the students. That is the vision which you are going to take up later.
I. Integrity and ethics. In the world of finance, where trust is paramount, ICAI stands tall as a beacon of integrity and ethics, shaping professionals who uphold the highest standards of ethics and accountability.
Accountants play such a pivotal role in modern business and corporate life. They are the guarantors of truth and trust in the financial reporting. India is a resurgent power on the global stage. Our businesses are thriving internationally, and so is the reputation of the Indian professionals. Among these, Indian chartered accountants have earned unparalleled recognition for their trustworthiness and expertise. The accounts you sign inspire such immense confidence that the people invest crores of rupees based solely on your word.
S stands for sustainability and social impact. That is embedded in ICAI's core and actions. Going ahead this year, ICAI has formed a special group on impact financing that will focus on profit, people, and planet. To inspire eco-conscious living among CA fraternity, a special group on enabling lifestyle for environment or life has been created, promoting sustainability in daily life. H. Holistic professional and leadership development. CA Charanjot Singh Nanda is an ardent proponent of holistic professional and leadership development. He believes that a healthy mind and a balanced life are the true foundations of professional success. Bringing the vision to action, a specialized committee on promoting work-life balance has been set up to promote well-being and personal development among members, students, and employees. A. For accelerating digital transformation. To keep Indian CAs at the forefront, ICAI is continuously accelerating digital transformation initiatives and has further strengthened the AI in ICAI committee, focusing on data analytics to elevate AI-driven solutions and education to the next level. S. For stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement is vital for true progress, and President ICAI strongly advocates public participation, emphasizing Janabhagidari at all levels. ICAI will actively collaborate with stakeholders for knowledge sharing, policy making, educating and creating awareness, and fostering collective growth.
Chartered accountant stands not for chartered accountant, but credibility ambassadors, change accelerators, and I would urge you to be conscious arbiters, ethical guardians, and bold decision makers.
End Nation First approach. Dedicating over 1.4 million CA professionals and students for the progress of the nation, ICAI embodies a nation-first approach, underscoring its commitment to India's economic progress.
बहुत बड़े resilient प्रोफेशन है। जैसे जैसे देश को हमारी जरूरत होती है, जैसे जीएसटी इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ था, हम सदैव तत्पर थे, तो हम सदा कदम से कदम मिलाकर चलते हैं। अगर आप बात करें बजट से पहले प्री बजट मेमोरेंडम, पोस्ट बजट मेमोरेंडम, डायरेक्ट इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स हम देते हैं। तो एज ए प्रोफेशन हम स्टैंडर्ड सेट करते हैं। We set up accounting standards, India's auditing standards, तो तमाम दुनिया के साथ हिंदुस्तान साथ चले और अग्रणी भूमिका में रहे, उसके लिए हम कार्यरत हैं।
I stands for innovation and entrepreneurship, driving startups and MSMEs through initiatives like the ICAI Startup Samvad and MSME Yatra. ICAI provides free advisory services, capacity building programs, and financial empowerment, strengthening MSMEs as the growth engines of the economy. Why? Youth and women-led development. ICAI believes that youth are the architects of change and women-led development is the foundation of a progressive nation. With 67% of its members aged 40 or younger and one-third being women, ICAI is fostering a new era of leadership and inclusivity. Aim for accountability, trust and transparency. As the financial soldier of the economy, ICAI marches with accountability, stand firm on trust, and illuminate the path with transparency, safeguarding prosperity, ensuring stability, and strengthening the financial landscape of the country. Vishwasphere is a vision where digital revolution, leadership, innovation, integrity, sustainability unite with humanity to shape a prosperous India. Together, we forge a developed India that inspires the world. ICAI है निरंतर प्रयासरत अपने लक्ष्य की ओर बनाना है विकसित भारत थामे सशक्त विश्वास की डोर.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The newly elected chairman of Oman chapter, CA, Unmesh समझ आता नाम कहाँ से आता है? There's a word called उन्माद, जुनून. उन्माद से जन्म लेता है उन्मेष. अब देखते हैं अगले साल कितना जुनून रहेगा इंशाल्लाह. No, very positive, sir. But still, you will have to see how much it remains. My very honorable two past presidents, Shri K. Raghu, Shri Manoj Fadnis, with whom I had a very nice time. Three of us were in the council. The senior most, Manojji, next time I came, next time Raghuji came. Shri Gaurav, my younger brother, who just turned on this dais, he was a chairman, then turned into past chairman. That is again a club. Now, I would urge all the past chairmen sitting here. Since morning I had close to 6 meetings. Every meeting was forced to create value for Muscat people, chartered accountants sitting here. Only one mission for me staying here since morning was to put across a message: we are the best. And if you want to be with us, give us the treatment which we deserve. So I would urge the past chairmen sitting here to join together. Mr. Prabhu also was with me. We had so many discussions with so many regulators, with so many high-ups in your government to pass on the message that we can do everything, provided we get the same respect, the same recognition which we deserve. All Managing Committee members, past chairmen, ladies and gentlemen, it's truly a momentous occasion. An occasion to celebrate, but still an occasion also to introspect. उर्दू में एक बड़ा उम्दा शेर है, आईने हंसने लगे और मुझे रोना आया. आईने हंसने लगे और मुझे रोना आया. आज बरसों बाद मेरी खुद से मुलाकात हुई. You have to yourself create standards, view yourself in that light and determine what your further stand has to be. As the largest accounting body of the world with over 5 lakh members and 10.6 lakh students, we are marching ahead in all aspects. Think when we started way back on 1st July 1949 with 1600 members. And at the time when even the constitution to this great country was not promulgated, you are aware that the constitution to this great country was promulgated on 26 January 1950. The pertinent question that arises is, what prompted the Constituent Assembly to set up an Institute of Chartered Accountants of India when its own democratic setup was not in place? The answer is very simple, very candid, very forthcoming. They were looking for a disciplined band of soldiers to steer this country out of confusion and put it on the path of perpetual progress. And there we are, the financial soldiers of Republic of India, and whichever destination we live, we work to the highest level of our competence. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll just discuss 3-4 points because I have to leave in 10-12 minutes. The first important thing, we have grown in status, we have grown in stature. Internationally, I remember 2004 when I had come, I joined the council, I could see people perceive us as second-rank citizens internationally, and see how times have changed. Today, we are at a premium. I happened to go to UK twice in the last month. First, when I went there, I was taken to the India House, Consulate House, where the Consulate General sits. He was not there. His deputy, Mr. Sudeep Ghosh, welcomed us. Their minister, Madam Nidhi, was there. And I was so happy to listen them praising. कहते हैं ना, मुक्त कंठ से प्रशंसा करते हैं Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. All members, even the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales, Mr. Malcolm Bells, was also there. So all of them in unison saying that we need Indian chartered accountants to bail out economies. We need Indian chartered accountants to show direction. And I want to tell you, the discussions, it was not only on sustainability, discussions were on artificial intelligence, on blockchains, on Internet of Things, on data analytics, and more importantly, on cyber security audits and information system audits. How parameters could be drawn from where inferences taken and shared with the boards. Gone are the time when oil and gold rule the markets. It is data. But the greatest disadvantage with data is that until and unless you are able to derive what is required, if the inference is not correct, you are not able to do anything. And data also has a different thought process. People see data and they say, I understand it. And data says, कि क्या यूं ही चंद लम्हों में पढ़ लोगे मुझे? क्या यूं ही चंद लम्हों में पढ़ लोगे मुझे? मैंने खुद को लिखने में बरसों लगाए हैं. It is never too easy. As the Institute came with guidance on remote audit way back on 30th March 2020, when COVID had barely come in, we are the first in the world to promulgate 23 forensic standards, a matter of pride for us, my brothers and sisters. You remember we give royalty to IFRS Foundation. Now we have inquiries from the entire world. They want to give royalty to us and take our forensic standards and the implementation guide for commercial purposes, for using them for their investigative purposes. एक और मजेदार बात आपको बताता हूँ. You are aware there is a very prestigious institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Singapore. I'll be meeting their president tomorrow. We were very keen to have an MOU with them. बड़ी खतों की दावत हुई, but they were not very keen. And then came World Congress. Their president came to Geo Center, Mumbai, as was customary. Our then president, Mr. Devashish Mitra, took him to our BKC building. He was not very keen, and was requested, he went there. But when he entered the building, he was taken aback. Oh my God, what a beautiful, outrageous, great, astounding, splendid, marvelous, fantabulous building it is. Our president very, very humbly said, he said, sir, we have more than 130 such buildings. He could know about the stature of chartered accountants. He could understand the magnitude in which we operate. He went back and wrote from Singapore. He said, I don't feel it is appropriate to have an MOU with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. I feel that we should make a unilateral announcement. What he said is written in golden verse in Indian history. He said that any Indian chartered accountant who remains in Singapore for more than 6 months, for reason whatsoever, would have equal rights and privileges in comparison to a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Singapore. देते न थे जो जवाब, उनके सलाम आने लगे. देते ना थे जो जवाब, उनके सलाम आने लगे। वक्त बदला तो मेरे नीम के पेड़ पर आम आने लगे। It is time to cut your harvest. We are better in all aspects. 81% of international technology initiatives emerge from India. India has now turned as a hub of outsourcing work. People have shut shops in Philippines, in China. They are going in large numbers to India. See where we have gone. But one thing, whatever you do, do with passion. Don't intermingle your head and heart. कहते हैं ना कि रूहों में भी दाग आ जाते हैं। रूह समझते हैं? कॉन्शियस, आत्मा। रूहों में भी दाग आ जाते हैं जब दिलों में दिमाग आ जाते हैं। Don't let your heart come to your mind, come to your heart. Move ahead, create value, work in whichever area you want to. I can give you 10 examples. We have seen people who have created. I went to Toronto, a gentleman who went 3 years back, created history. One gentleman, Ankur Agarwal, you may be knowing in Dubai, the office, but you will all know. A young chartered accountant, 4 years, 5 years back, went to Dubai. We have that entrepreneurial skills. We have to create value, but before that, we need to have the valor, the resolve to move ahead. कहते हैं ना, ढूंढोगे अगर तो ही रास्ते मिलेंगे, ढूंढोगे अगर तो ही रास्ते मिलेंगे, मंजिलों की फितरत है खुद चलकर नहीं आती. You have to create value for yourself. Technically, we are giving the best. I want to tell you, we have a full load of data, full load of videos of very, very important seminars, webinars which were held in Digital Learning Hub. If you want to collaborate, you can do any course which you want to do. We have just passed, and I will have to go and pass on 26th, 27th, we have a council meeting. AI and ICAI can be done here also, in Muscat. You can always attend that. Any certification course you want, we can do it here. We are opening up, and we want our members, our diaspora outside to ensure and support India. India will turn a superpower, not without your active involvement. I want to very candidly tell you, the thought process to create value, the indulgence, government is very keen. I had a meeting with the Secretary MCA. She said, I have a meeting with Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister, and we'll discuss how Indian firms can be made big. Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, member of the Economic Council, to President, is giving so many presentations. We are all working ahead to create large firms. We have told government what we want so that a firm can be turned large. We are leaders in sustainability in ESG. We are leaders in technology. We are leaders in system audits. Conversion, not only from Indian gap to UK gap, US gap. Now people do conversion from German gap to French gap. Indians have acquired the rare skill of performance. कहते हैं ना, अगर खैरात में मिलती कामयाबी तो हर शख्स कामयाब होता है. अगर खैरात में मिलती कामयाबी तो हर शख्स कामयाब होता. फिर कदर ना होती किसी हुनर की और ना ही कोई लाजवाब होता. हम चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट लाजवाबी की वजह से यहां से बैठे हैं. चलते चलते 3 important things. Number 1, I set up a committee for promoting work-life balance. We earn a lot of money, but we are very miser when we give time to our near and dear ones. Let it not become a ritual. Once or twice it is okay, but it should not be perennial. It should not be always that they keep waiting for you. See, I have had the guilt in my mind. I got married in 1996. Since 97, I'm in the council. 98, my son, who's a chartered accountant, partnered with me. When he was born, I was in the council. We first took him to the regional council and then to the Gurdwara. We never had a girl in our family. After 70 years, my daughter was born. 12th May 2001. When I took her in my arms, I was a treasurer regional council at that time. A phone rang. I took it up. It was the chairman's phone, Mr. Mangla's. He said, Nanda, you are getting late. Please come. Today is the felicitation function of Mr. N.D. Gupta. I ran there. When I came down from the dais, there were 170 missed calls. At that time, you had to retrieve the calls. When I retrieved, it was a hospital where my daughter was born. With trembling hands, I called her. The doctors started shouting on me, Mr. Nanda, we have done our best. I said, what happened, madam? So many people have surrounded outside. I spoke to my father. I said, क्या हुआ पापा? कहते नहीं लड़की हमारे घर इसलिए बधाई देने आए. Nothing bad. Then I told the doctor. She was so happy, she arranged lunch for all of them, did not take a single pie as her fees. See things, how they move, but emotionally, do we spend time with our parents? You stay outside, but still, do you take time in a year to go and meet them? Mother, father, माँ से बेहतर, माँ से खूबसूरत, माँ से बेनजीर चीज इस कायनात में कुछ नहीं. याद कीजिए बचपन में जब आप उनको बहुत तंग करते थे, हो सकता है आपको थप्पड़ लगा देती हो लेकिन बद्दुआ नहीं देती थी. कहते हैं ना कुछ इस कदर मेरे गुनाहों को धो देती थी मेरी माँ. जब बड़े गुस्से में होती थी तो बस रो देती थी मेरी माँ. Nothing more than that. Our spouses, our children. Yesterday, Gaurav was taking us along. He gave a call to Bhabis. I'm coming. She said, please come. She offered semai, coffee. See, how much do we go and give time to them? Both the children were awake at that time. How much time? That is very important. Time with your friends. You do such great meetings. It should be very perpetual. Meetings with families also. Let your wives also come. Second important thing. I have set up a group on impact financing for the first time. Sustainable finance is the key of today. We have to ensure that not only financial reporting, non-financial reporting also becomes important. And in today's time, valuations are very much dependent on non-financial reporting than financial reporting. You have to work towards it. अगर आप चलेंगे नहीं तो कुछ हासिल नहीं करेंगे. I say this time and again. You have to change your thought process. You have to make yourself an entrepreneur. And then shall you move ahead. सोचने से नहीं मिलते ख्वाहिशों के शहर. सोचने से नहीं मिलते ख्वाहिशों के शहर. चलने की जिद जरूरी है मंजिल पाने के लिए. And the last thing, benevolent fund. We have some friends of ours who are less fortunate. We all have everything in abundance. Don't give it to anybody. Give it to your institute. I'll give an example. Some 8 years back, I got a call from a lady at 11:30 in the night. I picked up the call. She was weeping incessantly. I said, what happened? She said, sir, I lost my husband. He was a chartered accountant. She said, today is my son's first birthday in Jaipur. He took him to get him the cake. Truck hit him. Husband died, the child was saved. I said, madam, don't worry, send me the benevolent fund. The benevolent fund form used to come in my office, which I used to sign. 4 years after that incident, when I reached office, he was sitting there. She had come to deliver the form. And with her, the boy was there, whose first birthday was there. His name was Pinku. I said, come Pinku, I like children so much. I said, क्या लेगा बेटा, क्या खाएगा? कहता कुछ नहीं. मैं कहा क्यों नहीं? I called my boy, मैं कहा इसके लिए cold drink ला, chips ला, chocolate ला. इतनी देर में साइन की खाना पूर्ति पूरी होगी. The lady got up to go and the child went with her. I called the child. Said, कह रहे हमारे समय में कोई दिलवाए बोलते तो हम जाते नहीं थे जब तक वो हाथ से निकाले ना. उसने जो कहा, I could not sleep 2 days. He said, uncle, पूछते सभी हैं, दिलाता कोई नहीं. एक राजा का बेटा. They are our brothers and sisters. Please, whatever you earn, small amount. In Gurbani we give daswant. In Islamic word you give zakat. Very, very important. Give to people of our stature who are in distress today. We have to help them. And ensure institute has a lot of money, sir. I can sign a check of 1,000 crores sitting here only. But I can't give a single rupee to benevolent fund. I can give to whatever amount I want to the employee benevolent fund, to student benevolent fund. But due to duality, the Act prohibits us from giving anything to a member. And we can't ask it from anybody other than the member. Our clients can make no donation. Only a chartered accountant can make donation to the Chartered Accountant Benevolent Fund. We have thought to take the target to 100 crores this year. I'll work towards it. I request you also to work towards it. And last thing, to be successful in life, you need a strong mind. Somebody asked Swamiji, said, Swamiji, you have gone through Veda and Upanishads n numbers of times. Could you tell me in the line the gist of Veda and Upanishads? Swamiji smiled and said, my boy, In the line, I shall not only tell you the gist of Veda and Upanishads, I will tell you the entire concept on which India thrives. Swamiji said, strength is life and weakness is death. इसका कतई मतलब ये नहीं कि कल से आप जाके जिम में आयरन पंप कर रहे हैं. जहनी ताकत. शहीद भगत सिंह के बारे में आप जानते हैं ना? The International Treaty of Prisons says that a man can only be hanged when the sun is going up. When Shahid Bhagat Singh was hanged, the sun was not going up, it was not constant, it had set. The executor came to Shahid Bhagat Singh, लेटे थे couch पे, उन्होंने कहा भगत सिंह जी आपके लिए बुरी खबर. उन्होंने कहा क्या बुरी खबर? कहता साहब आधे घंटे में आपको फांसी दी जाएगी. ये सुनकर शहीद भगत सिंह काउच से खड़े हुए, जल्लाद को लगा उसको मारेंगे, वो भागे. शहीद भगत सिंह जल्लाद के पीछे भागे. He was athlete, 2 कुचाले भर के उसको पीछे से पकड़ लिया और कहा शुक्रिया मेरे भाई. एक एग्जीक्यूटर के लिए, एक जल्लाद के लिए, एक मौत के हरकारे के लिए शुक्रिया और भाई नितांत अजनबी शब्द थे. उसने मुड़ के पूछा आपने मुझे भाई कहा? शहीद भगत सिंह ने कहा बेशक. मैंने जब से होश संभाला मेरा एक ही ख्वाब था देश में कुर्बान होने का और वो मुबारक घड़ी आ गई. A man who's going to leave this earth after half an hour. Look at his thought process. And he picked up एक कोयले का टुकड़ा उठा के जेल खाने की दीवार पे एक इबारत लिखी. Let that be your guiding force. The 22-year boy, सारा घर महबूबा दरवाजे पे जेल खाने के बिलक बिलक के लो रहे हैं और ये रण बाखुरा लिख रहा है कुछ इस कदर मेरी फितरत से वाकिफ है मेरी कलम. कुछ इस कदर मेरी फितरत से वाकिफ है मेरी कलम. इश्क लिखना भी चाहूं तो इनकलाब लिखा जाता है. इश्क लिखना भी चाहूं तो इनकलाब लिखा जाता है. Thanks Oman chapter for inviting me. Thanks a lot for coming here in such large numbers. Whatever I am, only because of you. I may be president, but president is for very less time. I'm a brother for always. Whenever you need me, feel free to give a call to me. Anytime you want us to perform, we are always there. Any issue you have with respect to institute, feel free to write to me on president@icai.in. We are very keen to ensure that we work and make our institute the best institute of the world. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Can I have a standing ovation for the President of ICAI, CA Charanjot Singh Nanda. Can I request Unmesh, the current chairman of the chapter, to come and present the memento to the President? Sorry, I'm seeing my watch. The last thing is if he finishes his flight, we have to stay back, come back, stay here for another 2 hours to listen to him. Ashish, quickly run on the stage, please. One picture with all the current MC members. Quickly run on the stage, please.
A very good evening to all of you. On behalf of the organizing committee of the ICAI Oman chapter, I, CA Sarita Vasanta Shinde, extend a warm welcome to each one of you to this special CPE event on global opportunities for CAs and IFRS for SMEs. We are truly honored to have you here this evening for what promises to be an insightful and engaging program featuring some of the most distinguished speakers, leaders of our profession. Before we proceed further, I am delighted to announce that we will be holding a special raffle draw at the end of this evening's program. So all members present will have a chance to win an exciting prize. So we encourage everyone to stay with us until the end of the event to participate in the draw and make the most of this wonderful evening. At Chartered Accountants, we continue to uphold the highest standards of integrity, expertise, and dedication. Today's event is not just about learning and networking, but also about celebrating our collective pursuit of excellence and our ever-growing impact on the global stage. Before we begin, let us take a moment to reflect on the recent tragic events in Pahalgam. I request everyone to kindly stand and observe 2 minutes of silence in solemn remembrance of those who lost their lives in the attack.
Let us stand together in solidarity and offer our deepest condolences to the families affected by this heartbreaking event. To commence our program, may I request everyone to remain standing for the ICAI motto song.
येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामंशो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्लं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यधिकश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Thank you. Please be seated. We are now moving on to our first technical session of the evening. To introduce our distinguished speaker, CA Raghuji, we will play a short AV introduction.
Federation of Accountants, New York, and served on its audit committee. He holds honorary membership from CPA Australia and the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Australia and New Zealand, and has represented India at major global conferences. He has also held key roles in CAPA and SAFA. Nationally, he was appointed as an independent director of Indian Overseas Bank, where he chaired the audit committee and significantly contributed to the bank's turnaround. He currently serves as an independent director at Axis Securities Ltd and has previously been a board member of the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. A passionate advocate for the profession, CA Raghu has presented numerous technical papers at prestigious national and international platforms, actively contributing to the evolution of the accounting profession in India and beyond. We are delighted to welcome you to today's CPE session.
I now invite CA Raghuji, past president of ICAI, to deliver his session on global opportunities for CA. CA Ashish will be welcoming Sir with the GIY kit.
Good evening, friends. It's indeed a delight to be here in Muscat. My visit to Muscat was about 10 years back when I was a president, 2014, when Subramaniam was there. Anuradha was the chapter chairman when I was a vice president. And I'm extremely happy to meet all of you once again. And today, we had the opportunity of participating in a conference this morning on sustainability. I was invited as a panelist along with Mr. Manoj Fadnis, and it was a great opportunity to meet all the bankers and all the top representatives from the financial institutions here in Muscat. Friends, maybe the next 40 minutes is what been allotted. It's 7:22, maybe 8 o'clock. We will just discuss as to what is in store for all of us, how the profession is moving, what are the opportunities for each one of us sitting here. I had the opportunity of interacting with many chartered accountants in Muscat yesterday, today. And one thing that was common, the common thread was everyone is very happy being in Muscat. When I asked them, how's life in Muscat, Mr. Raghu, it's excellent. The quality of life is extremely good. And we have a very good work-life balance. And we don't pay any taxes, we save a lot of money. So these were the common statements. And I was so happy to see the delightful faces when I was speaking to them. And they're all very happy being a professional, a chartered accountant, fact that they're in Muscat and doing extremely well. But friends, absolutely important for us to keep in mind that we have a lot of challenges ahead of us. The way things are changing, it's absolutely essential for us to look at new opportunities. Yes, today you're in Muscat. Tomorrow, your children, maybe they'll go to Canada, they'll go to Dubai, and then you have to head back home. What happens next? All of us have this, most of you would have this question mark, what happens to me once I get back to India? You might be from Bangalore, you might be from Chennai, and you always have the feeling whether the Indian market would accept me as a professional, having been in Muscat for 20 years, 25 years, having lost touch of the corporate laws, the GST or the Income Tax Act. But let me tell you, friends, I just want to give you an assurance there are plenty of opportunities for all of us here. Tomorrow you decide to get back to India, I can assure you, you can be extremely successful in various opportunities that are open to you in consulting. And today, the next session would talk about all this. So that will help you to prepare as to how you could go about planning your, your career ahead. So I will be talking about the global opportunities. And when we talk about the future of the profession, I think all of us would agree with these changes. The digital transformation that is taking place around us, the kind of impact we've been seeing over the last 10 years, majority of the routine tasks are getting automated. No longer it is, the accounting tasks today with the availability of cloud-based softwares, majority of the routine tasks are being automated. Thanks to COVID, remote work flexibility was a reality. Even to this day, the top HR heads, when I interact with them, I was speaking to the HR head in Infosys, he was telling me, Raghu, getting back our staff to the corporate office is very difficult. Even in most of the corporates and MNCs in Bangalore are still following a 3-day, they have to just come to office for 3 days, and 3 days they're permitted to work from home. But yes, remote working, flexibility to work from home has been accepted as a norm. Most of the corporates, whether they're chartered accountants, whether they're engineers, they're permitted to work from home thanks to COVID. And this is a new normal. Then real-time reporting. I think all of us were used to a concept of, preparing financial reports for every quarter, every year, but things have changed today. The new generation entrepreneurs want real-time reporting. They are no longer interested in your quarterly reporting. They're no longer interested in your annual reporting. They want data to be collated, the finance team to get into real-time reporting, and real-time reporting is being accepted globally as the in thing today. Cloud-based collaboration, everything happens on the cloud, and it's possible for you to work from home, work from the airport, working in your car. So a lot of things happen because your data sits on the cloud and you have the entire team accessing the information. So this is another change. And new digital payment mechanisms. I'm sure you come to India, you can see the success of UPI, the way you're able to order food by using your mobile phones, buying a tender coconut using your Paytm or any of these apps, you're able to hail an auto, hail a car, buy your air tickets. I think the new digital payment mechanisms have become a super hit. Even housewives in India are so much used to using UPI. I was just checking with a few CAs, do we have UPI in Muscat? They said, no, Mr. Raghu. But yes, the government is planning to have something similar to that in Muscat. So we have marched ahead. UPI has been a super success in our country. And today, when the digital payment mechanisms have undergone a big change, we as chartered accountants should understand how exactly transactions are happening today, how organizations are selling their products and services using the new digital payment mechanisms. Online real-time audit, as I told you earlier, not only accounting, audit also needs to be done on an online real-time basis. You need to give an assurance to the management that everything is fine, all transactions are being accounted, stocks are being accounted properly. So with The new generation ERPs, online real-time audit, is not at all difficult. I think many of us are already working on these environments. The new concept that is coming in India is the virtual CFO services. Let us say you've been in Muscat for 10 years, 15 years, you've been a CFO for a company here, and let us say you head back to your native, and let us say Bangalore or Delhi. You could be a virtual CFO for a company based out of anywhere in the world. You could be a virtual CFO for a company based in Singapore. Virtual CFO services are gaining immense popularity, and today, if you have the expertise of being a CFO, having worked as a CFO, getting a good assignment to be a virtual CFO is not at all difficult. And I've come across a lot of chartered accountants who are offering virtual CFO services to 1 or 2 companies. So these are the new trends that is taking place around us. And global service offerings. No longer today chartered accountants are offering services to clients. Let us say I am from Bangalore. No longer I'm offering services to clients only in Bangalore. When I qualified in 1990, I remember my father was a chartered accountant. I used to joined this practice. We used to have clients coming from Bangalore. But today, we are able to cater to clients around the world. We have clients across the country, across the world. So what is happening is that the service offerings have become global. So this is something which all of us have to keep in mind, the change that is taking place. Of course, data security and privacy has gained a lot of importance. Data security is something very critical, and as we as chartered accountants can play a big role in assuring management that everything, the data is secure, because, absolutely important that the data the organization has is absolutely secure so that we are safe from cyber threats. Having said this, what really happens is that, what is it we need to do? Let us say you want to set up practice. What is it you need to do? Or let us say even if you are working for a company, you need to embrace technology. Absolutely critical. Yes, all of us have been exposed to a lot of technology, but there's a need for us to keep on learning new technologies. And if you embrace technology, I think you'll have the first mover advantage. So you need to embrace technology. For that, you need to engage with IT companies. You need to discuss with IT professionals. Because most of us really, what happens is when it comes to embracing technology, we are a little reluctant. I think we have no choice. We have to embrace technology if we have to move forward. If you want to work in a global environment, you need to have the knowledge of the latest technology. And it's absolutely critical. Not only embracing technology and engaging with IT companies, you also have to upskill your staff members. If you're having your own firm, consulting firm, you need to upskill all of them. So you need to induct new partners and build a broader client base. And there's a need for you to think of specialization. A lot of areas that have come up for specialization, which I'll be talking later. So there's a need for you to explore new opportunities that is available to us. These are some of the new service offerings that are quite popular. And I'll be taking you through all these service offerings. It could be on valuation, mergers and acquisitions, insolvency and bankruptcy code 2016, forensic audit, information systems audit, and cyber risk management. So when you talk about valuation, today valuation services by chartered accountants are in great demand, not only in India, but around the world. So if you want to get into valuation, I think a lot of courses are available. The CA Institute also is having a course on valuation. In fact, currently I'm undergoing this course on valuation that will give you the strengths to value companies, shares of listed companies, startups. So today we find that a lot of CAs who have taken up this course on valuation, which they plan to also have it in the overseas chapters, you could, develop a career in valuation. You can start offering valuation services. So what really happens is that a lot of challenges, and for this, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India set up a ICAI RVO, a Section 8 company to enroll and regulate registered valuers. And these courses has a 50 hours of educational content, and then you're given a certificate of practice, and there's a continuing education program that you need to comply with. So if you want to get into valuation, the right step would be to take up this course offered by the Institute. It's an online course, and it's possible for you to gain expert knowledge on valuation so that you're able to offer services in the field of valuation. And let me tell you, friends, valuation is an exciting, you can say, area to practice. And I've come across many professionals in India who are doing extremely well with the knowledge of providing valuation services. So these are the opportunities that are there, like under the Companies Act, Ind AS, Income Tax Act, SEBI mandates valuation, Reserve Bank of India, Insolvency Bankruptcy Code. Most of these laws, require valuation to be done. And as chartered accountants, I think we are the most ideal professionals to carry out business valuation, financial instruments valuation, intellectual property valuation, insurance and actuarial valuation, startup valuation, ESOP valuation, and valuation for the purpose of the Indian Income Tax Act. So these are the kind of opportunities that are available to you in valuation. And I'm sure some of you are already in this space, but since you're in Muscat, you would like to specialize in this area, you could do something what is required under the laws in your country. M&A is again another new area, another area that's growing very fast today. The kind of mergers that are happening globally, every jurisdiction you see companies getting, merging, and a lot of big companies are also acquiring smaller companies. And with the growth of the startup space, we find that the M&A services are in great demand. So in M&A transactions, we as chartered accountants can add a lot of value to the whole M&A transaction, so that you can help the client right from the beginning, right from the negotiation and completion, to see that the entire M&A activity happens smoothly. And M&A activity is likely to be strong because of healthy corporate cash flows and the kind of interest that is being seen in startups. The M&A activity is becoming extremely popular. And I see a lot of opportunities for all of you in M&A consulting. Why I'm trying to give you all these opportunities is that you can decide what is ideal for you, what is good for you. I'm giving you a menu of opportunities. You can just decide, Mr. Raghu, this is good for me, M&A is good for me, valuation is good for me, forensic is good for me. Then you can deep dive and decide what exactly you want to get into. So you have seen the M&A market. I think now 2024 it's crossed more than 250 billion. That is the kind of opportunity that is there in the M&A market. So basically, when you talk about M&A, what all you could do? As chartered accountants, I think in an M&A transaction, you'll have to carry out a due diligence, a financial due diligence. Structuring the whole deal. I think as chartered accountants, we are the most ideal professionals to structure the whole deal. And deal financing also is something which is a part of the M&A activity. Modeling, post-merger integration, how exactly the integration happens after the merger. We can provide support, negotiation support. Tax planning is another area where we could offer our services. Legal and regulatory compliance, and again cross-border M&A. These are something that we can, the kind of activities that would be involved in M&A transaction. And in each of these activities, I personally feel that chartered accountants have a very important role to play. And I've been a part of a few M&A transactions, and I feel that we could add a lot of value to the client and support the client. And if you're working for a company and a company is acquiring another company also, most of these activities would be involved. So this is M&A consulting opportunity, something which you should explore. Many chartered accountants have asked me, Mr. Raghu, this insolvency and bankruptcy code that has been, been a big success in India. What do you think? Is there an opportunity for us? Because we find that many chartered accountants who have headed back to India have become insolvency professionals. They've been doing extremely well. Today, a whole lot of the insolvency professionals consist of chartered accountants. If you look at the whole list of insolvency professionals, a whole lot of CAs are there. And the code provides for a specialized forum to oversee all insolvency and liquidation proceedings for individuals, SMEs and corporates. That is the bankruptcy code. So this has led to a lot of recoveries. Today, if you look at the public sector banks in India, I think they are having a huge, you can say balance, NPA, non-performing assets in their balance sheet. They want to clean up the balance sheets. They want chartered accountants who are insolvency professionals who can help them to recover the money. And today, we find that most of the banks are employing chartered accountants with insolvency specialization to help them recover money from various customers to which they have lent. But I'm sure the success stories are many. Last maybe 6 to 7 years, we have seen many companies have adopted this route, and CAs are appointed as insolvency professionals to carry out the recovery on behalf of the banks. So you could be a resolution professional. If you want to get into insolvency, you could be a resolution professional. You can set up an insolvency consulting firm. You can work with an insolvency consulting firm. You can get into an operational restructuring, recovery and turnaround management. You can also appear before the NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, and Debt Recovery Tribunal. And you could assist in the liquidation process, and you can also help in investigating frauds. I've been on the board of a public sector bank in India, and I've seen the role being played by chartered accountants or insolvency professionals. They've been able to recover a lot of money for the banks. And today the demand for chartered accountants in the field of IBC is increasing. Another area which you could think of specializing is forensic audit. Forensic audit, again, not restricted only to India. You could be a forensic auditor even in Muscat. And as I have said here, there's no domain that is spared from misconduct, fraudulence, and injustice. Frauds happen everywhere, whether it's India, whether it's Muscat, whether it's US, frauds happen everywhere. And today, the nature of frauds are highly complicated. And this has given a big importance for forensic accounting. And today what has happened, the Reserve Bank of India has made forensic audit mandatory for all the banks. Most of the banks, when they have lent money over a threshold and they find the NPAs are there, they're mandating forensic audit. So today what is really happening is that increasing in frauds have led to increasing opportunities in forensic audit, and chartered accountants are the most ideal professionals to carry out forensic audit. So you could be involved in fraud detection, fraud prevention. A company can ask your services to develop processes that can prevent frauds. They can also mandate you to investigate financial irregularities. If a company is found to have irregularities, they can ask you to investigate. They can also ask you to investigate whistleblower allegations. Digital forensic is gaining ground, wherein with the knowledge of latest software, you're able to do a forensic audit. And you have an opportunity to work with all the top regulators in the country. I've talked about working with RBI, SFIO. If you're in Muscat, you could work with regulatory agencies in Muscat. And if you have a forensic audit qualification of the CA Institute or any other professional body, I think your services would be highly appreciated. Today in India, banks and financial institutions maintain a panel of chartered accountants with specialized knowledge of forensic audit. Information systems audit is gaining ground. Today we are talking about quantum computing, we are talking about so many new things happening. And what is really important is that you need to have the expertise to audit, when the entire accounting is computerized, it's absolutely essential for you to use audit tools to carry out an audit. And today a lot of softwares are available for you to carry out IS audit effectively. Earlier, we used to have the auditing around the computer. Accountants used to ask for printouts, verify. Now everything is gone. Today, IS auditor is able to assist in investigating frauds. He works with a security team and with the certified fraud examiners. So basically what happens is that information systems audit is gaining ground around the world. And it's an exciting area for you to be in. We have a certification course. We have also the CISA that is available, which is gives you the knowledge and the qualification to carry out the information systems audit. Again, plenty of opportunities for you in the field of information systems audit. Coming to cyber attacks, today cyber attacks are very common. In a country like India, we find that every other day in the newspapers, you have senior citizens, people losing money. And, the government of India has now, even in the telephonic, when you make a call to India, you have, please be careful, don't give your OTPs, don't give your Aadhaar numbers. A lot of cyber fraud are taking place, are alerting the public at large. That is because many people are losing money. Even educated people, retired bankers, retired IRS officers are losing money, and because of cyber attacks. So today, what really happens is that share transactions happen on your mobile phone. A lot of things happen on your mobile phone. All your banking transactions happen on the mobile phone. I am on the board of Access Securities. We see the kind of frauds that take place, people who are buying and selling shares. We find that a lot of, attacks takes place. So cyber risk services is something which we could offer as chartered accountants. So if a company wants to set up a cyber strategy and management, if they want you to assist them, yes, you could help companies in prevention of cyber attacks. This is again a specialized area, a lot of courses available for you, and you could, develop expertise in the field of cyber security. If we don't march ahead, let me tell you friends, we lose this opportunity to other professionals. And today I find many other professionals very active in the cyber security space. So I feel chartered accountants have a big role to play in ensuring cyber security in organizations that are using extensive, data. So basically, we have the strength and qualification that, where we can help companies to mitigate cyber risk. Then, as technology consultants, we can also see that how cyber risk can be effective. So what I would like to say that cyber risk management is something very exciting. You could develop a career in cyber risk management, and today we find a lot of CAs specializing in cyber security. So what is happening is that intelligent technology is shaping the future of accounting. This is something which we need to keep in mind. So what are the new trends in technology? I said that yes, we need to embrace technology. Careers are opening up globally. Accounting, technology careers are opening globally. Working on the cloud is a new trend. And the disruptive technologies will reshape the accounting profession. And yes, mobile accounting is gaining power. You go to a store, the storekeeper is able to generate a bill on his mobile phone. It gets automatically updated on your accounting software. So there's a need for accountants to be tech savvy. Absolutely essential that if you're not tech savvy, I think we will lose out. So one area that is gaining importance is AI. All of us have been talking about AI, but what exactly have we done? Yes, you need to know more about what is happening in the AI space, how it will impact your work. And today, there are many tax utilities that are using AI. If you want to know the latest Supreme Court judgments or High Court judgments, the press of a button using AI, you just speak out on your phone. You're having software that can give you a list of recent decisions of the Supreme Court or High Court or the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. A lot of tax utilities are using AI. In India, we find that many chartered accountants are using this. Analyzing of your accounts receivable reports, credit reporting, all of that, key market trends, inventory, all of this is gaining ground. And if you are the CFOs or finance heads of various companies, I think you should start using artificial intelligence in your day-to-day activity. All of us have seen how ChatGPT is so useful to you. You just need to type out a sentence and you get so much of data in a very structured fashion. So AI is gaining ground, and it's something that all of us should accept that we need to use it more effectively in our day-to-day work. So blockchain is again gaining importance. I had the opportunity of watching a presentation, a live presentation, how blockchain could impact each one of us when I was on the board of the International Federation of Accountants in New York. IBM made a presentation to us, to all the board members, as to how blockchain would change the way accounting would happen. And let me tell you, the banking sector would be the first sector to embrace blockchain. If you look at India, already the Reserve Bank of India has mandated the banks to set up their own study groups, working groups to implement blockchain. So what really happens in the blockchain is that the entire transaction can be tracked because all the data is in blocks. So this is something very new. And in a blockchain environment, auditor will have online real-time access to data. So he can conduct an online real-time audit in a blockchain environment. Banks will start using blockchain in a big way because that is where we see an opportunity for all of us. So most of the banks around the world will start using blockchain. So I'm sure this is something, very interesting. And to know more about this, yes, you need to do some specialized courses, need to deep dive into what blockchain is. There are many courses available, and it's for you to decide whether you want to develop expertise in blockchain. Analytics, already popular. Companies have started using big data because today problem is having a whole lot of data. So companies have started using analytics, and I find that chartered accountants in most of the advertisements in the newspapers today, they say chartered accountants with 20 years experience with specialized knowledge and analytics preferred. So yes, that is what they expect. The industry wants you to have not only a 20 years experience as a chartered accountant, but they want you to have knowledge of analytics. So companies have started using analytics in a big way. I think we are the most ideal professionals to analyze data. And I personally believe that analytics can transform the way you work. And all of us have seen how analytics is helping our organizations to grow fast. So this is again an area where you can think of specializing, or maybe you can think of using big data analytics in your day-to-day working, because there's no way you can escape, learning, analytics. This is something which has become very, very common now. Accounting on the cloud. No longer you have servers in your office, everything is remote. And it's possible for you to work at multiple locations. Today, the CFO is in Dubai, is able to review your accounts. You are sitting here in Muscat. Your accountant is punching data. You are reviewing the ledger accounts. Everything happens seamlessly. Multiple people accessing the same data is now a reality. And as a result of which, we find that even the small size companies, even small enterprises are using the cloud for accounting. So this is something which we need to keep in mind. Robotic process automation, wherein routine tasks are getting replicated using RPA. And we find that RPA is a huge opportunity for finance and accounting professionals, because a lot of repetitive tasks can be automated. The whole process of accounting can be more simplified by RPA. And many corporates in India are using RPA extensively in the finance function. So this is something which we need to be aware and see how best some of the companies using robotic process automation can be implemented in your organizations. Fintech is the new future. Plenty of opportunities for all of us in the fintech space, either for a job or for consulting. And today, as I told you earlier, digital currency and e-wallets have become popular. Portfolio management, stock market trading, insurance, you can buy insurance online. Everything is, being developed by fintech companies. You come to Bangalore, you have a whole lot of fintech companies, generating so many new applications for you that will help you to conduct your activities in a very seamless and a simple manner. Lot of opportunities for you in the fintech space. And today, the kind of unicorns you have seen, more than 100 unicorns are there in a country, more than 150 unicorns are there, and they've grown very big. And most of the unicorns are, in the fintech space. So what is happening, friends, is that we are in a disruptive era. Profession is in a disruptive era. All of us have seen the telecom sector, how it got disrupted. One fine day, you had a telecom revolution, and then, even we were able to leapfrog. Something similar will happen in the accounting profession. We are no longer chartered accountants would be involved in accounting, audit, and then compliance. A lot of new opportunities are coming, which I already said. So we are moving to a disruptive area. And then we are working in a borderless world. Today, it is possible for you to, your company for which you're working, doing business in multiple countries. So you need to have the ability to deal with professionals around the world. It could be Dubai, it could be Singapore, it could be any country. You should have the knowledge of multiple accounting. So let us say your company is working with a company in Australia, you need to have the knowledge of how the accounting systems are there in Australia. And then it's also essential for you to work with accountants who are foreign nationals in other countries. So it's absolutely essential for you to keep in mind that you're operating in a borderless world and no longer you are restricted to a place like Muscat. Talking about credibility in financial reporting, I would not talk much about it because we have Mr. Manoj Fadnis who will talk to us about the importance of financial reporting, how things are changing, how the convergence is happening to international standards, what we have done as far as the ICAI is concerned for implementing IFRS, role each of us are playing. It's a big opportunity. I would just like to say that IFRS consulting is a very, very big opportunity in any jurisdiction, and it's essential for us to keep in mind that this can, bring about a big transformation in your career. IFRS professionals in India are in great demand. Not only in India, in various jurisdictions, we know that IFRS professionals are in great demand. And once, we will have Manoj Fadnis to talk about how the world is looking at one set of global accounting standards, and today, our Indian accounting standards, Ind AS, is more or less in tune with IFRS, except maybe for 5 to 6 carve-outs. I think we are on par with IFRS. So this will help you to, take up a career in IFRS, because we find that many countries have already adopted IFRS, and this is something which you could think of as an opportunity. Friends, again, we have a big responsibility to promote strong corporate governance. Today, you might be asked by a company to consult them on corporate governance. I had the opportunity of meeting a chartered accountant who told me, Mr. Raghu, I'm consulting on companies to improve their corporate governance. So you can set up the processes, systems for a bank, for a financial institution to strengthen the corporate governance mechanism, because corporate governance is something that is gaining ground. Corporates have realized that there's a need for them to have good corporate governance. So if you have the passion to help companies to build strong corporate governance practices, yes, you can see a consulting opportunity for you. So these are some of the global opportunities which I would like to talk about. I think here I would not like to say much, because today we're talking about the Gulf region, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, plenty of CAs, excellent, opportunities for chartered accountants. You're all a standing example. And the CAs working in the Gulf region are given attractive pay packages. There's something which we talk about the success story of Gulf, and whenever we go to various branches of the institute, we talk about the success stories of all of you. And you are really proud ambassadors for our profession. All the chartered accountants working in the Gulf region are proud ambassadors for the profession. We are proud about the fact that all of you have been doing so well. The next so the most favorite destination for young CAs is the Gulf region, because you can just come to the Gulf, 3 to 4 hours of flying time from any part of the country. Australia is an exciting destination. We have a lot of career opportunities. Let us say from Muscat you want to settle down in Australia. Opportunities are there in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, Canberra. We have MRA signed up with the CP Australia and the MRA Chartered Account Australia and New Zealand. And today there's a lot of opportunities in the pension industry, the banking sector, pension sector, and the insurance sector in Australia. A lot of demand. And again, pay packages are very good. So Australia could be a good destination if you want to migrate. We find that a lot of opportunities are there for chartered accountants in Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. You might wonder whether people go and work there. A lot of Indian CAs are working in these countries. And we have a lot of mutual recognition with each of these institutions to see how best our members can be successful there. Yes, United States of America, no breakthrough. We have been talking to them, discussing with them. They're not very keen to recognize our qualification. So, but many people are keen to go to US. They're keen to set up career, take up a job in US. The only option available to them is to do the AICPA, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, the largest accounting body. You have to do the CPA course there and then get into a job. But yes, a lot of Indian CAs with the CPA qualification are extremely successful either in practice or working in various companies. Again, same activities like as they're into mergers and acquisitions, valuation, a lot of opportunities there in the United States of America. So these are the MRAs, what we have: England and Wales, Ireland, Canada, South Africa, Malaysia, Nepal. Why I'm trying to tell you all this is that you could choose a jurisdiction of your choice. Let us say you want to go to Ireland. Yes, we have a MRA with them. You want to go to South Africa? Yes, excellent opportunity. A lot of Indian CAs are very successful in South Africa. The kind of opportunities that are there in Kenya, Tanzania, absolutely. I've personally visited our chapters there and they're doing very well. And pay packages are also very good. So these are some of the MRAs which we have with other countries, which any of you are planning to go to any of these countries, either Canada or Ireland. Let us say your children are going to Canada for higher studies and you want to relocate to Canada. It's a good option for you to go to Canada and relocate yourself and start offering consulting services. So this is how we see the change that is taking place. And one big change which we see in India, which I thought I should share with you, is the growth of the startup space. Mind-blowing growth in the startup space. And in the startup space, I come from a city like Bangalore, and Bangalore is a startup hub. Every other day we see success stories. We see so many chartered accountants, involved in the startup space. And the government of India is also supporting startup by giving them tax holidays, angel tax exemption, compliance, reduction of corporate taxes. So this is one area which you could think of. And I've seen many chartered accountants have quit their jobs and, become promoters of startups. And they've done very well for themselves. I had the opportunity of meeting a chartered accountant recently in Bangalore. She has set up a company known as Yoga Bar that was acquired by ITC for about 600 crores. Young chartered accountant doing well. So a startup space is very vibrant in our country, in India, and chartered accountants can play a very important role. And if you get an opportunity to work for a startup, I think you should not hesitate. You should pick up that opportunity. Why I'm trying to talk about the startup space is that there are a lot of opportunities for you in this space. Finally, friends, this is what my concluding slide is. The entire economy, the world economy is going digital. It's possible for you to buy products and services online. A lot of new opportunities have come up. So upskilling is mandatory. There's no way you can escape. You have put in 20 years of practice, 30 years of practice. Not sufficient. You have to upskill. A lot of courses are available. You have to deep dive. Reading articles, attending seminars will not be sufficient. You have to take up any of these courses. And today corporates in India are looking at new generation professionals. They want youngsters. We have the latest knowledge of technology, who are very current. So you need to compete with such professionals if you want to look at job opportunities. As I said, disruption is a new normal. We have to accept the change that is taking place. And today what is happening is that we need to be open to work with different cultures, and all of you are very well adapted in working in a new country, working with other nationals from other countries. I think that is not a challenge for you. So what I would like to say is that the way forward is exciting for all of us. So friends, this is something which I thought I would share with all of you. So I would personally, feel that as chartered accountants, we can be successful wherever we are, whether we are in India, whether in Muscat, whether in Australia. It's just that you need to be watchful, you need to upskill yourself, you need to embrace technology, you need to be forward-looking, you need to look at newer opportunities. And this session was just to give you a sort of a bird's eye view of various opportunities that are available, not only in Muscat, in India, also in other countries, so that you can prepare yourself, set up a roadmap. I think all of us should have a short-term roadmap or a long-term roadmap, and then try to work backwards and see how best we can be successful in our careers. Thank you very much. And thank you very much.
Thank you, CA Raghuji. for the enlightening session and for sharing your invaluable perspectives on the global landscape for chartered accountants. Now I invite Mr. Praveen Bhaskar of Total Environment, our sponsor of today's event, for his presentation. So till we resolve this technical glitch, we will utilize this time in felicitating our volunteers and we had announced special opportunities for CAs qualified in 2014 and 2015 for reissuance of their certificates by the then president of ICAI. So we now are excited to announce we request CA Raghu and CA Manoj to come on the dais. We're waiting for those members who are qualified in those years. Till that time, we will proceed with the felicitation of our volunteers of subcommittees. This is a very special part of our evening, the felicitation of the dedicated volunteers from various subcommittees of the ICAI Oman chapter. These volunteers have selflessly contributed their time and efforts to ensure the success of our chapter's activities and initiatives. I would like to first call upon the members of CP subcommittee to kindly come forward and receive their tokens of appreciation. So volunteers of CP subcommittee are CA Balakrishna Dubey.
Thank you everyone for being patient. As I mentioned earlier, आप सब लोगों ने जब भी मैंने किसी को भी हेल्प के लिए मदद मांगी, they were ready. I had no troubles and support from each and every one of you for that. Thank you very much. Then we always have a formal committees and subcommittees to help us. So this is not a thanks, but this is from my heart for your support throughout this year. I'm just going by the alphabetical order rather than any particular committee or subcommittee order, just to make sure that there is no first or second here. It's just that all are equally important in terms of the support they provide. I request one certificate to be given by our past president Raghu, and the next one by Manoj, and then it will come. The first on the list is CA Alina. She has helped us wonderfully during the two women special conferences. So we have the Omani Women's Day, sir. We also have International Women's Day. And those two events are 100% run by the female members. And she was also actively supporting us during the first ICAI GCC conference. The second is CA Amit Khare. Run fast, he is part of the sports subcommittee, so thank you Amit for all your support throughout the year. This was a new subcommittee that was there this year. Especially we started, sir, a weekly wellness program for our members, and therefore we needed a number of support from the volunteers. So this was special. Next is CA Anup Gupta. Okay, let's not waste time. Let's move forward. If they come, then we'll call back again. Next is CA Ashik. Okay, he's not there. CA Balakrishnan R. Dubey. He is our CP subcommittee. The venue we are in, he works for the owners of this venue, and he always gets special rates for us. So that's why he is also special in terms of his involvement in the chapter activities. Sir, we did our Diwali event here as well, in the same hall. Even it was much bigger because we had families there.
So that also, he helps to, get special discounts and everything for us. Next is CA Ganesh. Ganesh is not there? Okay, let's go. Okay. Next is a bit special. She has been backbone of the chairman throughout the year. She used to check the emails for me as well. Secretary, you can say, she was part of the sports subcommittee. She was part of first GCC conference. These are just some formal designations, but she has helped in each and everything that I did. And in troubles, I did go back and ask her opinions as well. None other than my wife, CA Garima Kapoor. So yesterday when we had past chairpersons dinner with the president as well as two vice presidents, since president has mentioned it, I would not have otherwise. And we left from the restaurant. I was exactly in front of the hotel at the gate. Around 10 o'clock? Around, yeah, No, I'm just, so President sir said, you're dropping us? I said, yes. And because he's Punjab, right? Punjab mein wo gedi kehte na, gedi maar ke ta aaye nahi haje. So from there we started back again. So वहां से लेके वापस फिर 12:15 मैंने उनको उतारा यहाँ पे. वो भी ये बोले अभी उतार दो, सुबह आपके फंक्शंस हैं. So in between when they were crossing from where I stay, then I said, sir, अगर time है तो 10 मिनट घर भी चलते हैं. तो कहते चलो, क्योंकि they know my family, not sir, but Nanda ji has met them before when they came for GCC conference. So luckily, beta beti दोनों भी जाग रहे थे. The most thing was they asked my daughter what she wants to be. My daughter said, doctor. Now that is what Nanda ji did not like. उनको तो CA सुनना था. तो till the time she said CA, नंदा जी गए नहीं. वो मैंने अपनी बेटी को बोला, बेटे अगर तुमने सोना है, सुबह स्कूल टाइम है, बोल दो CA तो वो चले जाएंगे. तो ये प्लान करना पड़ा मुझे. These fun things happen on the sidelines, so just sharing those. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, next one is also special, Globin. But I'll mention he is injured now. He is injured. He had a fracture and she's still here. And I remember when I was calling him, not knowing that he's in hospital, and I'm asking him, where are you? I need your help. And this is my feeling, when I originally started interacting, I felt he's like useless, he's not helping. But then he became the most important. He was an SOS for us for GCC conference. Last moment, anything, if no one is there, I knew Globin is there. He was awake 2 nights. He was awake 2 nights to make sure every person who is coming, whatever time he is coordinating that. I was able to sleep for 2.5 hours a night before only because he was awake. Thank you, Globin. Okay. CA Manaja, she was also helping us a lot in the GCC conference, coordinating very well with the team. CA Ignesh? Not there? Okay, let's move on. CA Jacob Jose, so he also helped us a lot during the first GCC conference. Thank you, Jacob, for your wonderful support. A lot of these people were not taking dignitaries, the speakers, the members from other GCC or India coming, whatever time it be. So a great commitment from each one of them. Next is, again, someone who has helped a lot. We started with the weekly wellness sessions. And if you remember, Rajesh was there who initially helped us and kicked off the things. But that unfortunately, he had to leave Oman towards the just November, December of 24. And then we were finding who can replace him to help this wellness sessions to speed up and keep the momentum. And then, so I found someone who can support us. And so much closeness was that when Thursday morning I used to send just hi to him or good morning to him, the response was not good morning. This is the planning for Saturday. Right? So this is what it goes into when you have new friends who come up and support you from heart. So he's none other than CA Manish. Sir, there are few other members and who has climbed the Africa's longest or highest mountain. He has also achieved that during this year. Again, CP is always our special subcommittee because it requires the most dedication throughout the year with all the events happening, at least 2 events per month. And then, of course, the GCC conference. CA Nalini, thank you very much. So if you remember during the GCC conference, we also had some sightseeing and other activities for our members who are visiting and for the spouses of the members, because some of the members had come with the spouse. So when the members are attending events, someone had to take care to have the view of the city, etc. Someone who stood up and said, I will take up this challenge, CA Nirmal Ghiwala. So he was not only helping in the normal tasks for picking up and managing the visitors, but someone who also helped on the sightseeing side of the things. He actually, along with the spouse of a chartered accountant, felt that they can now open a travel agency. I don't know where the story has gone so far, but hopefully soon. Again, within the sports committee, as well as someone who has helped during GCC conference, CA Rahul. I don't know whether you want to disclose or I should keep quiet on your future ventures. I can say? So he will soon be leaving Oman as well. So you can congratulate him for the next move of his career as well. Again, for first GCC conference, CA Rajesh. Not here? He said, come on, man, you are even the singer for the chapter. When we were discussing, what we will do in this 10-minute break, if you think we gave that 7-8 minute break, right? So what we'll do, we were thinking we can ask him or Negiji to sing a couple of songs here. Again, great support during GCC conference, CA Samit Arora. So what was your last time when you picked up someone or early morning pickup?
Yeah, in fact, I can only say that the person, Anjani, who was coming from Luxembourg, he was a brave one because his flight was delayed by almost 8 or 10 hours. And he was coming specifically for 1 day of that GCC seminar. And poor guy lost it in that flight, 8, 10 hours. But but he had a good time when he came in late evening and then we met all of us. So he left with a lot of gratitude, of course, meeting everybody. And I think he's still in touch.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, someone from the Women's Committee, as I had said earlier, someone from the Sports Committee, and as I said, 2 events in a year, wholly, solely run by the women of the chapter. Salute to them and helping us with the GCC conference. CA Sarita. Well, the next one is also special to me. Had some fights as well. But even after all that, whenever I have went back, she was always there to support. None other than CA Shilpa. When I have said in the AGM speech that there are few where we have gone over and beyond just the friendships, some of these are the names I am reading out here. Someone helping for the sports subcommittee, CA Siddharth. He's left? Okay. Again, woman, superwoman, always there to help. Apart from the woman, it's written woman and GCC, but I'm sure she has helped for a number of sports events as well. She was started with when I first asked her to prepare some medals for the chapter, and that never ended till today. None other than CA Samita Gaikwad. Because she gave me few of the balance, we say debit credit, right? So we never make the balance zero, because if you make the balance zero, you might forget that person. So you keep a balance, whether plus or minus. So she had 4 extra medals. I said, keep, at least we will know that we always can go back to you whenever we need support. Another woman, excellent support. All the women was excellent, I think. We men need to wake up and be a role model for them. CA Thenu. Now in the last. Who was absent will go in the last now. Right? These members are not with me. They are bringing the certificate in, and then I need to roll. And if I say no, we'll do, they come with an excuse and putting some words in my ear. Come on. If he had something, he had to be even more earlier, right? Sorry, Ganesh. It's next to you, so everyone knows whom I am talking of. Come. Come. So he was also going late nights for us during the GCC conference. Next, CA Vaibhav. Not here, right? Okay, I think I have not missed anyone, but in case, then apologies from my side. Oh, can you? So, if I missed anyone, as I said, this was, sir, no, there is few more things. Be patient, sorry. So, thank you, everyone. Yes, let's go to, if you recall, we did an activity during the Eid break, and we hadn't announced the results or anything. But the competition was so tough what to do. We tried to appoint a judge to help us, and the judge said, no, this is too difficult, I can't decide this. So that was the toughness of the competition. So the managing committee then decided that we'll give certificates to all the participants. I know the kids are not here because this was for the kids, not for the members, but kids of the members. So since they are not here, we have We will give it to the parents and then they can hand it over, because obviously with the AGM and others, we do expect they will not be able to make up. So I just say the name of the child and then with the name of the member. So if you are here, please collect the certificates. Srinidhi Rajesh, daughter of CA Rajesh Krishnamurthy. We are also giving a small chocolate. I hope the kids like that. Next is Lisa Ajil, daughter of CA Divya Jacob. No. He has, he could have written Ajil, right? He wrote his wife's name and didn't bring his wife. So I don't know what kind of fairness Ajil this is. And he made this list for me, right? No, I'm just trying to understand what was going in his mind when he's making the list, knowing his wife is not coming, but still writing the wife's name. I have to open his brain tonight. Next is...
In fact, my wife is prepared the list.
Now I know. Next is Kesia, daughter of CA Jim Josephity, our past chairperson. Next is Twisha Khare, daughter of CA Amit Khare. Next two together, Archana Jigar Seth and Vidika Jigar Seth, spouse and daughter of CA Jigar Seth. Not there? Oh, okay. I think Anup Gupta is not here as well. Okay, then both my son and daughter, Ojasvi and Myra Kapoor, so I'll request Garima to collect on their behalf. Okay, finally, let's go to the managing committee as well. Already? All here inside? I hope they are showing not too much hunger and not going out, right? I can't see, Unmesh, where is your team? Okay, let me start for the managing committee. I think the managing committee people can come here rather than having to worry to bring their own certificates here. Someone who has taken care of things where suits him the most, because he's less in Oman and more outside Oman. Because he is doing the things over the internet, putting in all the social media posts, and therefore none other than our Students Affairs and Subcommittee and IT Media and PR, CA Abhishek. And by the way, when he is in Oman, he is not for the chapter, because he can still be anywhere in Oman and work on these things. With all the CP events that have happened, so whenever I used to get a request for, from the members or from outside as well, or direct someone approaches me, I was very easy for me. I just forward that to this person and say, do the scanning and decide if you want to, is it worth calling that individual or not? And if he says no, that's it. That was not debated on ever in any of the committee meetings subsequently. So that was his stature that he created for us within the committee. He's very foodie. So all the events that had happened, if the choice of the food is not through him, I was always worried. None other than CA Ashish Subeda. I was lucky to have all these people who had those special skills, which helped my life very easy. It's just that, and this is for you, I'm disclosing some things, but there are some hidden talents further, that if you find those things, you get yourself, rid of some of the tasks and have time for other important things to handle. Oh yeah, this one is super. You give him a task, he will break into 10 parts. And then he have his checklist. If anything is not ticked out, he will ask 10 times, this is not done. Goes to the minute details. Perfectly done everything. If it's not perfectly done, he doesn't like it. Unfortunately, we put him in sports culture subcommittee. He helped us initially, and then he himself needed help. Then his wife instructed him, no, this is not your cup of tea. Which is fine, right? We are all not built to do everything in life. But it is the realization at the right time. And thanks, it did not turn out to be having a disaster for us. But he kept on his excellent work on other parts. And then recently, that's why he took up the CPE role as well. And he is the backbone, or I would say, I take the credit, but he is the chairman of the CFO subcommittee, none other than CA Ajil James Kurian. Well, I had a tough time with this guy. Which one? How many are left? Huh? They're thinking, at least Sangeeta he said guy, not a girl, so female, so she's safe. If you have to call him at 5, you have to tell it is 4. With the recent, last weekend sports day, so, and to be honest, right, like, let me be very open and share some of those stories that makes us relieve our tension and all. So I asked, I need someone to help me with giving the direction so that members doesn't face problem coming to the venue, because I knew you park and you have to turn the 100-degree or 180-degree at least to get to the entrance gate and all. So someone said, yes, I will manage it. So obviously he's bringing the directions and everything, but he reaches after all the members have reached. So. But having said that, he brought brilliant ideas in terms of attracting the money from the members. We used to always have, follow up with the members, please pay your membership fees, etc., etc. I know the institute has a rule of, canceling the license or membership, etc., but we don't do here, right? So he brought an idea, why don't we link the AGM to something that makes the members to pay upfront. That's different that it got delayed and you will still get delivered, don't worry about it. But that was not his fault in any way because of the India-Pakistan war and other things that happened. The logistics became a bit challenge in the last minute. But that idea was brilliant in terms of making sure the chapter receives the funds, because that is one of the things, apart from the sponsorships that we collect, to keep running the chapter in great shape that we are in. And last, any technical issue, he has to be referred to. And we had few technical issues this year in terms of the interpretation, especially when the new guidelines were issued by the institute on overseas chapters, for overseas chapters. So there was a lot of technical points, what we can comply, what we cannot comply, and what then needs to be referred back to ICAI Delhi to give further consideration, because this is something we definitely cannot achieve. So, and deadline was 31st December 2024, and that's why we had the EGM before that to pass the resolution, to make the amendments to the bylaws, etc. So whole work was done by this, none other than CA J. Duseja. Well, now I think the guesses will be less with
only few left. So I will have to be more clearer. So this was a person who was in charge of all the funds, but didn't had an authorized signatory with the bank. So when I used to go for the meetings with him, I said, I always tell he's the in charge, holding all the funds. And then he used to say, but I don't have, why you say this? Because the checkbook is still with him. None other than CA Badri. He was also in charge of the sponsorship subcommittee. And to be honest, we had some sort of, I won't say record, but reasonably well collection this year, that even after doing the GCC conference, which was one of the most expensive done so far, we still had surplus, even though it's small, but still it matters. Women Members Excellence Subcommittee, I've said that how wonderful our women are. And you can imagine a woman leading that, how wonderful she would be. Managing, when we say managing your wife is so difficult, but managing for someone, so many women should be even more difficult. I am just assuming so, but maybe, I think let me not say more than this. I still have to sleep at home only. I thought she has gone out, but yeah. But this is not going anywhere, huh? This is just outside. This is not CP event. Yeah. Okay. None other than CA Sangeeta Suresh Kumar. I could sense he was a bit nervous. So so now there's no choices. He's your new chairman, someone who deserves to be there. He has groomed it to this position and has earned it over the last 1 year of whatever he has done along with me. And a lot of things I could focus more strategically was only because I had his hand to take care of a number of other tasks which would have been difficult otherwise for me, none other than CA Unmesh Bhume. Oh yeah. So I think that's going to be our trademark for this year, right? Whenever he comes, the word Taliyan will automatically come now.
कितना टाइम है अपने पास? देखिए, कहने के लिए बहुत बातें हैं, बट अभी 1-to-1 बात करेंगे. So to say something about Gaurav, he has always been the support for the entire MC. And one thing which I would like to tell everybody on the stage is that for the GCC conference, if I equate the efforts taken by all the participants or the subcommittee members or the managing committee members, and if I compare that with the efforts Gaurav has taken, I think he overweights everybody. He will take everything on his shoulder and execute it, and I think that's what is the takeaway for me, Gaurav, but I'm going to delegate, don't worry. So with this, I call CA Gaurav to be felicitated by our past chair presidents. Come, all the managing committee members, please be on the stage for a quick group photo. So we thank our past president, Raghu sir, Manoj sir. When I connected with them, within few minutes, they responded with a yes, and then we can see they're present for the morning session, which we had at the CBFS, and then immediately they confirmed their participation for the CP event after the AGM as well. And then if you stay with them, you spend more time with them, you really understand. They are so humble and simple. I think that's what is the takeaway I had when I met them. A lot to learn from you, sir. Thank you very much for honoring our request. And we hope to invite you again and again and again in coming years. Thank you, sir. So we'll felicitate you. Gauraji. Jim and Prabhuji is there. Mubinji. All the past chairmen, Mubinji, we request you to please come on the stage to felicitate our past presidents and the speakers.
Good evening, friends. I know I'm standing between you and the dinner. But, and I thought after this very elaborate and very affectionate, very personalized moments, I would not be called upon to still speak on IFRS for SMEs. But as luck would have it, they say that unless you really do your job, you can't have dinner. My privilege to be present in Muscat. My Honorable President, under whom I've worked as his deputy, CA Raghu, the newly elected chairman of Muscat chapter and the outgoing chairman, all the senior past chairmen of Muscat chapters, and my esteemed colleagues. The topic that I have planned to speak upon is, as I'm told, something new in Muscat. I have a full presentation, but I think it may not be appropriate to go through the entire presentation at this point of time. I'll, of course, leave it with the chapter, and I'm sure it would be circulated to all. I've just tried to compile my thoughts, the progress which IFRS for SMEs has made over a period of time, and some of the differences which are there between full IFRS and the IFRS for SMEs. I'm told that this is a new topic or something new is beginning here in Muscat so far as IFRS for SMEs are concerned. It's good that ISB has brought out this for small and medium enterprises. To begin with, what is a small and medium enterprises? In simple words, what ISB says is, small and medium enterprises are those which do not have public accountability. And therefore, any entity whose securities are not listed on a stock exchange becomes a small and medium enterprise. Different jurisdictions could also have different definitions for SMEs. So it is for each jurisdiction to decide what it considers as SME in its own jurisdiction. As all of you are aware, back home in India, we have a definition of small company. In the accounting standards, we also have what is a small and medium enterprises. And we have certain thresholds of turnover, thresholds of net worth, thresholds relating to number of employees, which, if fulfilled, becomes a small and medium enterprise. But the core thing is that a small and medium enterprise is an enterprise in which the public interest is not there. So one of the criteria in India has also been the borrowings from banks. Entity which borrows beyond a particular threshold will not be considered as a small and medium enterprise because the bank holds funds of the public at large, the depositors. And therefore, if an entity is borrowing beyond a particular threshold, also qualifies for not being classified as a SME under the Indian scenario. But it is for jurisdictions to decide what should be a SME in that particular jurisdiction. I'm not aware what is the definition which is proposed or which is finalized for the Sultanate of Oman. But whatever be that, it would be an entity which is, in which the public is not interested. The securities are certainly not listed. It is not an insurance company. It is not a banking company. And these are those which are essentially family-owned entities or partnership firms between very few and limited persons, maybe in the form of partnership firms or limited liability companies. So that is one part of what is a small and medium enterprise. The second part is, what should be the accounting policies being followed by SMEs? So what is done is, the standards start with what is there in IFRS, and they have followed 2 or 3 important principles to decide what should be contained for IFRS for SMEs. And one of the principles is that it should be simple, it should be relevant, but it should still result in faithful presentation of the financial statements in terms of the financial position and financial performance of that entity. So we are essentially talking about entities which are, as I said, smaller entities where they are being financed or they are seeking bank loans, or there are some tax authorities which could have interest in their financial statements, and otherwise the close group of owners who own those entities. And therefore all all reporting standards in their full requirement would not be applicable to those small and medium enterprises. So what ISB has done is, in terms of the IFRS for SMEs, which has been rolled out this year and which is proposed to be made applicable from 2027 and onwards, is that the rigid requirements of IFRS, some of those are reduced in context of the SMEs, and keeping those 3 principles in mind, that it should be relevant, it should be simple, and it should still result in faithful presentation of the financial position. So we find that there are important changes with respect to business combinations, consolidation of financial statements, financial instruments, and also with respect to revenue from contracts with customers. So these are 5-6 standards where important changes have been carried out in the new set of IFRS for SMEs. One more important aspect is the conceptual framework which was issued in 2018 by IASB, and which becomes the basis for the formulation of the accounting standards. As friends, all of you are well aware, an accounting standard will contain the principles of recognition, measurement, and presentation and disclosures. So recognition is how I recognize inventory, how I recognize PPE, how I recognize an intangible asset. So these are the recognition principles, and then how I measure it. So how I measure this, whether it is my own or this is a PPE or this is an inventory. So measurement principles. And having measured an item, how would I disclose it, how would I present it in the financial statements, and what would be the relevant applicable disclosure norms relating to those items which have been so recognized and measured. And generally it is the presentation and disclosure norms which are diluted in terms of IFRS for SMEs. So what is an inventory will always remain an inventory whether I am a small entity or a large entity. What is an item of PPE or intangible assets would always remain the same, irrespective of the size of an entity. But where a change comes in is, say, an intangible item. An intangible asset under IFRS, under IAS 38, says that either it has a finite life or it has an indefinite life. It is not infinite life. So goodwill or brands do not have infinite life, they have indefinite life. The life of a brand cannot be measured in terms of number of years. It is basis what expectations I have in terms of usage of that brand. Or goodwill cannot be measured in whether it is 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It could be for 100 years. Or in some cases, it may not be there for a year. So the life is indefinite, life is not infinite. And therefore, IAS 38 requires that such intangible assets should be tested for impairment on an every reporting period, and that is every year it needs to be tested for its useful life. Now that becomes a complex process. Carrying out an impairment test of a goodwill or a brand could be very subjective, could involve a lot of judgments, as Raghuji mentioned about valuation techniques which are developing. Now, valuation techniques could be very subjective, and more so as we know if we are in using level 3 type of hierarchy in terms of the fair value measurements, it could be very subjective, it could be very complex. And therefore, for IFRS for SMEs says that there is a rebuttable presumption that the useful life of a goodwill or such a type of intangible asset is 10 years. Goodwill under our accounting standard AS 14, which corresponds to, one may say something, interestingly, our accounting standards way back in India and what most of us learned when we appeared for exams. Luckily, when I appeared for exams and some of the senior members appeared for exams, we did not have any accounting standards. And I pity all those young boys and girls who appear nowadays. They not only study the accounting standards, the Indian accounting standards, they also read the differences between Ind AS and IFRS. And to cap it all, they also go through the income competition and disclosure standards in the Income Tax Act. So hats off to those all youngsters who are passing the exams, clearing the hurdle today, that at least people at my age could very happily say that we did not reach so many standards when we were appearing for exams. Now, be that as be, our accounting standards, AS as we call them, are at a pedestal higher than IFRS for SMEs, but are certainly below the full IFRS. So we are somewhere between IFRS and IFRS for SMEs. And these entire accounting standards have been made applicable to all entities, be that a large company, earlier a listed company before Ind AS became applicable in 2018 onwards, 2017 onwards. So be that a listed entity or be it a small individual or a Hindu undivided family or a partnership firm, all followed the same accounting standards with some exemptions for level 2 and level 3 type of entities. So AS have always been at a pedestal higher than IFRS for SMEs because we had certain principles in AS which do not find place in IFRS for SMEs. And just to give an example, under Accounting Standard 16 on borrowing costs, it requires capitalization of borrowing cost during the construction period, which is an exemption in IFRS for SMEs, which permits expensing of those expenses and not capitalizing those expenses, because there could be some difficulties if it is a weighted average rate of borrowing to be calculated or a general rate of borrowing to be calculated. So there could be difficulties. In AS 14, as I was referring to, the goodwill is to be amortized. Goodwill on amalgamation is to be amortized over a period not exceeding 5 years. Whereas full IFRS requires that goodwill should be tested for impairment. Goodwill is not to be amortized. Goodwill is to be tested for impairment. And as I said, testing of goodwill is one of the very contentious issues. As some of you would have read the literature and which is developing on the ISB, I'm well aware that Japan was one of the first countries to come forward and say that should goodwill not be amortized. It is too difficult to point out and to carry out a full testing of impairment on goodwill and very subjective. Possibly companies may not really impair the goodwill. So that debate continues, and there have been a lot of discussion papers coming on amortization versus testing for impairment of goodwill. And to give benefit to SME, the IFRS for SME says, don't go for the testing of impairment. You can straight away amortize it over a period of 10 years. 10 years is a rebuttable presumption. If you think it is longer than 10 years, amortize it over a longer period or a shorter period, as may be appropriate in a given case. So the whole idea in IFRS for SMEs is that it reduces the rigors of full IFRS when it comes to the application of the standards for small and medium entities, given the fact that these entities may not be in a position to employ qualified resources to carry out the entire preparation and presentation of the financial statements. So, like that, there have been differences which are pointed out. Conceptual framework has been made part of IFRS for SMEs. Now, friends, there is a very important part or important role which the conceptual framework plays. If you recall IFRS 4 on insurance contracts, the way it existed before we had IFRS 17 on insurance contracts, what it said was, you carry out whatever treatment you want. Or IFRS 6, which was for more in case of extractive industries, it permitted companies to follow whichever method they were following consistently and uniformly without laying down any specific method to be followed by the extractive industries. Now, India has large extractive industries. Coal, we discussed sustainability reporting, and as I mentioned early in the morning, when I grew up, coal was always an asset, a natural resource. Today, the way coal is being talked about, it appears to be a liability. They say you should not be financing coal because it is polluting the environment. But the fact is, today the India, way back at home in India, mining of coals, mining of extractive industries is a big economic activity. Australia has one of the largest coal mines. And these extractive industries really require an effective accounting standard which does not exist today. So, if there is no standard, had IFRS 6 not been there, the implications would have been that in absence of a standard, you fall back on the conceptual framework, and whatever is mentioned in the conceptual framework, you use that to decide what should be an accounting policy appropriate to the business of the entity. In that case, in case of extractive industries, had IFRS 6 not been there, there could have been a major problem with respect to full testing as well as partly resulting testing in cases of where where mines are dug and there is no success being found out, and in such cases the entire cost could have been expensed off or would be required to be charged to the P&L had IFRS 6 not been there. So the purpose and the need for conceptual framework is that it lays down the basic principles, and basis those principles an accounting standard is developed. But while developing an accounting standard, if it is felt that there should be a deviation from the principles contained in conceptual framework, those different principles are enshrined in the relevant accounting standards. And if there is no accounting standard on a particular subject, then you fall back on the conceptual framework and use the knowledge or the principles laid down in the conceptual framework to decide and formulate an appropriate accounting policy. Now, in IFRS for SMEs, the important amendment which is carried out is this conceptual framework has been made part of the IFRS for SMEs. And the implication is that it is there with full authoritative requirements of compliance with the conceptual framework, which in some cases may not have been there had it not been issued as part of the IFRS. In India, as you would see in the Ind AS, the conceptual framework is not made part of the Ind AS. Conceptual framework is even today issued separately by the Accounting Standards Board and the Council of the Institute. And the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has issued a notification to ensure that even that conceptual framework is complied with, although it does not form part of the company's Indian Accounting Standard Rules 2015. So, this, to my mind, is one important aspect which is brought in IFRS for SMEs with respect to making conceptual framework part of it. And friends, the last issue which I need to discuss is, today, as I understand, and arising from discussion I had last evening with some of our colleagues over dinner, is that Oman has been following full IFRS. Now, there could be SMEs which could qualify as SMEs and which do not have public interest. Should those SMEs migrate to IFRS for SMEs, or they should continue using the full IFRS? Now, this, I believe, would be a very important aspect for the accountants and auditors and consultants to really ponder upon, and the management, to help the management of such entities to decide whether they should continue to follow full IFRS or should migrate to IFRS for SMEs. And this would have to be decided by each entity on a case-to-case basis. In my view, and we had a brief discussion last evening, and I had been thinking on this subject since then. I believe that if there was no IFRS for SMEs, the SMEs did not have a framework, and therefore they were complying with the full IFRS. Now that Oman also has this framework on SMEs available, it would be a good idea to give an option to those SMEs to decide whether they would like to take the benefit of IFRS for SMEs, or they would like to continue using IFRS, full IFRS, as they were doing in the earlier period. I believe it would be important that this option is available to the entities, a one-time option. You can't decide on a year-to-year basis that I'll use IFRS for SMEs this year, next year I'll go to full IFRS, third year I'll come back. That would be a khichdi, and that would not be acceptable. But one-time option should be given, is my humble view, and I'm sure there could be different views on this topic. But a one-time exemption would enable an entity to decide that if I'm not going to be a listed entity, if I do not have any plans to become a public interest entity, why not I take the benefit of IFRS for SMEs now that it is a globally recognized framework on accounting standards for smaller entities? Why should an entity be deprived of that benefit? And tomorrow, if it decides to issue its securities, get them listed on stock exchange, there is a process and a procedure to migrate to full IFRS using the exemptions and benefits given in IFRS 1. In India, because, as I said, before companies' Indian accounting standard rules were notified, we had accounting standards originally notified in 2006 as part of the Companies Act, the then Companies Act 1956. So when we migrated from AS to Ind AS, a voluntary option was given to the companies to migrate from AS to Ind AS. So today, a company is required to adopt Ind AS if it plans to list its securities, or it crosses the threshold of 250 crores of Indian rupees. Then it has to mandatorily apply Ind AS. But if it is below that threshold and it decides to adopt Ind AS, the rules permit them as an option to go and apply Ind AS. But the requirement is that if a company voluntarily adopts Ind AS, tomorrow it cannot go back to AS. So it is only a one-way path. If a company adopts Ind AS, it cannot go back to AS. And in context of Oman, because there was no IFRS for SMEs and because of which the entities followed full IFRS, they need to have this option to decide whether they should still be on full IFRS or they can take the benefit of IFRS for SMEs. But I leave it at that point, and I'm sure this would be something which the regulators and government bodies would ponder upon and take the final decision. I'm sure with the help of many of the people who are present in this hall, who would be enabling and formulating views on this subject. But just as a thought that, in my view, was that it should be permitted. Else, friends, having read the full IFRS, the SME standards are simpler, easier to understand, shorter in size. The number of pages consumed are much less than the full IFRS, and therefore it is more, even in approach and in appearance, more friendly to an entity to enable to use them. I'll stop here, I'll pause here. If there are questions, I'll be too happy to answer. But otherwise, I'm sure there's a sumptuous meal waiting for all of us. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. So there are, I have covered all these in my slides. But one of the important changes which is made with respect to consolidation is the concept of control is brought in the same way as it is in IFRS 10. Second is the relevance and simplicity, keeping that in mind. They have said that the investment entity fair valuations would not apply because rarely a SME would have an investment entity below it. And if there is a subsidiary which is an investment entity, the parent may rarely have the benefit of being classified still as a SME. And therefore the standard says it's not relevant, and therefore that those provisions those exemptions for investment entities are not covered. The third is there is a rebuttable presumption in the IFRS for SMEs on consolidation that if you have a majority share in a company, in an entity, there's a rebuttable presumption that you have a control, and therefore consolidation is mandatory. But since it is a rebuttable presumption, it is open for an entity to rebut that presumption and provide the contrary information and evidence available, and then show that even with majority I do not have control, and therefore consolidation as a entity, as a holding company and a subsidiary company are not applicable. So these are, to my mind, the major changes which are there with respect to consolidation.
Sir, my query was that a parent company in SME may not consolidate the account provided its parent company or the intermediary parent company prepares the consolidated account.
That is in IFRS
10. But there is one clause in IFRS 10 that this account should be available for public use. But the same para is not there in available for public use. So can you just give a thought on what is available for public use?
So the definition of SME itself says that the financial statements are not meant for public. When I'm a SME and I'm taking the benefit of the standards for SMEs, the basic principle would be that I am generating financial statements not for the benefit of public. I am generating those financial statements essentially for my group of owners, which could be a limited number of people, my bankers, my very immediate creditors and suppliers, but not for the public at large. So the consolidated financial statements being available for public would be contradictory to the application of the standards for SMEs. This, to my mind, would be the reason for what difference you are pointing out. Very thankful to all of you that so late in the evening, all of you are still back here. I was talking to Raghuji while we had the honor of distributing certificates. I said, it's already 9 o'clock. I have a flight to catch. My wife is also here, and we'll just now pack up and say goodbye. But I was really surprised. My good friend Mubin Bhai said that, no, we want to discuss IFRS for SMEs. So very pleasant surprise that so many people are really interested in this subject, even at so late in the evening. Many thanks and gratitude to the chairman and members of the managing committee and to all of you for your patient hearing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, CA Fadnis ji, for the comprehensive and thought-provoking session on IFRS for SMEs. Now I invite our sponsor, Mr. Pravin Bhaskaran of Total Environment, for his presentation.
A very good evening to one and all present here. At the very outset, I'd like to essentially thank ICAI Oman chapter for having Total Environment as one of the sponsors for today's event. It gives us immense pleasure to be associated with ICAI Oman chapter, and we essentially look forward to continuing this association and engagement in the years to come in whatever capacity we can. Today we've had the opportunity to listen to very distinguished dignitaries, and we've had insightful sessions today. Keeping that in mind, and the fact that all of you've been waiting here for the past 2 to 3 years and essentially have been hearing all the dignitaries speak, I'd try and keep my talk succinct. I'd essentially break my talk into 2 bits. The first part, I'll be talking about Bangalore as a dynamic city and why it's prudent time to consider investing in the city at this point in time. And the second part, I'll be talking about Total Environment, some of the offerings that we have, the work we do, and some of the payment plans that we currently have on offer. So these, in fact, are essentially some images, renders of some of our offerings. So if I were to quickly talk about Bangalore, Bangalore's possibly one of the largest cities in the country today. It's the 3rd most populous city in the country. It's referred to as a startup capital of the country, and it happens to be the 20th largest amongst the globe. We refer to that as the Silicon Valley of the country, and it also happens to be the 4th largest technological hub in the world as well. It happens to be possibly the 2nd city when it comes to the employability rate, when we talk about the employability rate. And other than that, it also happens to have, it happens to essentially be the high street capital of the country, as well as when it comes to grade A commercial spaces, this is the city that tops in terms of supply. So there are 3 major sectors that are driving the city's economy at this given point in time. The first being aerospace and defense. 65% of the investments coming into aerospace and defense is essentially concentrated in Bangalore. If you talk about large MNCs such as Boeing and Airbus, they actually have the largest bases. Outside of their base, they have their 2nd largest campuses back in Bangalore. The other sector that's been driving the economy of Bangalore would be information technology and information technology enabled services. If you talk about this, this particular sector generates around 137 billion in terms of exports, and 40% of that's essentially something that's contributed by Karnataka. And even this particular sector is something that is highly concentrated in Bangalore, and 25% of Karnataka's GDP is essentially, through this particular sector. And the third one would essentially be engineering and machine tools. 60% of India's engineering and machine tools, the manufacturing of all of that happens to be in Bangalore. This is in fact a snapshot of the nationwide rentals back. And if you see, amongst all of the major cities in the country, you would find Bangalore topping the same. So there are a host of infrastructure developments that are essentially driving growth in this particular city. And some of these have been listed here. Some of these include economic corridors, as well as infrastructure corridors, which includes, ring roads and so on and so forth. Now, within Bangalore, if essentially there's a part of town which is being touted to be the next residential and commercial hubspot in the years to come, it's essentially North Bangalore. And if I have to very quickly talk about some of the developments that are driving, this particular part of town developing in the years to come, it's essentially these. One is the airport city. The other one would be a mega rail terminal that's coming up in Devanahalli, which is again towards the northern part of town, towards the airport. And the third is essentially the high-tech defense and space park. Now, talking a bit about total environment and the work we do, we essentially are a 28-year-old company. We started back in July 1996. The founders of the organization, it's a husband and wife duo. Kamal Sagar and Shibani Sagar are their names. Kamal happens to be an IIT Kharagpur graduate, batch of 92. Shibani, on the other hand, happens to have graduated from Savannah School of Arts and Design in Georgia. So that's the kind of people that we have at the helm. Over the past 28 years, we've completed 33 projects, primarily residential, primarily Bangalore. But having said that, we do have offerings outside of Bangalore too. These would be Pune and Hyderabad back in India. Today, we essentially have around 16 million square feet under construction across Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad, and Texas in the US. So the focus is essentially around creating spaces around sustainable architecture. So if I were to quickly talk about a few unique selling propositions or differentiators of our offerings, one of them happens to be the fact that we essentially design spaces around sustainable architecture. We do this by providing terrace gardens with our homes, irrespective of whether it's an apartment, irrespective of whether it's essentially a space on the ground floor or the 25th floor. All of these spaces are provided with a terrace garden. And when I talk about a terrace garden, this is essentially a space wherein you have a soil fill of around 1.5 feet to 2, and you can actually grow vegetation that grows up to 10, 15 feet in height. Similarly, when we talk about independent homes, villas, we also do provide gardens with those. In terms of the materials, we essentially make use of natural materials. You would never see a vitrified tile in a total environment home. When it comes to flooring, we essentially make use of stone flooring. We make use of stones such as Jaisalmer, Kota, Indian marbles, Italian marbles, hardwood flooring, and so on and so forth. So the thought is around making use of natural materials because we believe that these happen to be timeless in nature, and over a period of time, each of these materials attains its own character, which is unique to itself. Other than that, we also do provide you with post-handover property management services. So we design spaces and maintain it for life. And the most important and the primary differentiator or the value proposition happens to be the fact that we design spaces that are personalized, that are customizable. So you essentially could alter the floor plan of the space to cater to your unique tastes and requirements. You can choose the kind of materials you would want in the home. You could essentially go to the extent of choosing the number of drawers that you would want in your wardrobe. You can opt for custom cabinetry and furniture and so on and so forth. So these are certain unique value propositions of our offerings, which you would typically not find in some other offerings available out there. So this is a snapshot of some of our ongoing projects today towards the northern part of town. We have Tangled Up in Green, which is the first of our plotted developments in Devanahalli in North Bangalore. Then we have a project called Down by the Water, which is in Jakur in North Bangalore. Then we also have a project called In That Quiet Earth, which is something that we have off Ennore Road in North Bangalore. And then we also have a project closer towards Yelahanka called After the Rain. Again, a snapshot around how the property prices have gradually moved between 2020 and 2024. So if you try and understand this, you would see that whatever were the base prices back in 2020, today's base prices would possibly be anywhere on the lines of 2 to 2.5 times of that. And this is essentially a price trend analysis for a project of ours in Whitefield, whereas this would be for something that we have towards the northern part of town. Now, I'll quickly talk about a few payment plans that are on offer across some of our projects. These essentially are position-linked payment plans. One of them is something that we refer to as a 1090 payment plan. This is something that's applicable in a project that we have of Hennur Road. I'll quickly touch base on how this particular payment plan would work. As an investor, as a customer, you would essentially be parking 10% of the unit value within 30 days from the date of booking. This is a payment plan which is being done in conjunction with ICICI Bank. So the bank would come in and would fund 75% of the unit value, including GST. Now for this 75% that the bank's going to be funding, they would be releasing this basis the progress in construction. And during the tenure of construction, the pre-EMIs or the interest for the monies being disbursed by the bank is something that would be borne by Total Environment on your behalf. So for you as an investor, if you were to essentially look at something wherein the handover is, let's say, December 2029, which is good 4.5 years from now, all that you're parking between today and December 29 would be 10%, which in this case would be anywhere on the lines of around 45 lakhs and nothing in between. Even if you consider property appreciation or the capital appreciation at the rate of 10% per annum or 12% per annum, you would see the property price appreciating from 4.35 crores all the way up to 6.8 crores. And given that all that you've invested is 10%, the returns that you stand to gain, if at all you were to possibly look at liquidating during this 4.5 years, it would be something on the lines that we've highlighted here. This is another payment plan, again a position-linked payment plan. It's called 3070 payment plan. This is something that you could possibly explore if at all you would not want to avail a loan in the first place. Over here, in this particular payment plan, 30% is something that you would essentially be parking in the next 60 days from the date of your purchase. And the remaining 70% is something that you would be paying closer towards possession, which again would be anywhere on the lines of December 29 or June 29, depending on the phase. And again, applying the same math that we did earlier, the returns that you would possibly stand to gain, if at all you were to possibly look at this, investing under this particular payment plan, it would be anywhere on the lines of what we've highlighted here. So that's about it. Thank you for taking the time out to hear us, and thank you for giving us the opportunity. Yeah, you guys have a good evening. Thank you.
And now, as promised at the beginning of our program, it's time for our much-awaited raffle draw. So Praveen ji will be coming and, sorry? You can forward all your requests to Praveen ji. And the winner is, any guess? Shilpa Pawani. Let us give our winner a big round of applause. She is really lucky. Now we will felicitate our sponsor. I call upon CA Jim to the dais to felicitate our sponsor. To conclude this wonderful evening, I invite CA Unmesh Bhumeji to deliver the vote of thanks. Please join me in welcoming CA Unmesh ji to the stage.
Oh, there is a saying, na, एक बार हो गया, दो बार हो गया, so ija, bija और तीजा भी हो गया. I am again not prepared for this vote of thanks, and I know and I know I'm I probably am not standing between you and the dinner, right? Most of you already had it. But I have not had it. Sir had not had dinner. So thank you everybody for patiently being with us and attending this session, AGM plus the CP session. And we thank intercity officials and our permanent member Nagesh for the photo and videography support. So with this, I conclude that the session is over. See you in the next CP session. Thank you very much. Talia.